into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Good morning.
Oh, we're not dancing this morning. I thought we were going to do a bit of a shimmy. We always do a shimmy. We always have to start.
I feel old. I feel old this morning.
Just today?
I'm dancing on the inside. No, just today. Just today. No, there we go.
There we go.
We can get a bit of a groove on.
Into it.
Well, whatever you are doing, whether you are busy making a coffee and you just stopped midstream, whether you're still in bed and you're like, should I get up or not? Don't get up. Don't get out of bed. Just chill. We got you, man. Don't even go into work today. No, actually, if you have to go into work, go into work. But we got you covered for the next 3 hours at least. A very good morning and a very warm welcome from myself, Graham Richards.
And myself, Jamie Domberg. Again, a very good morning to you guys. It is Tuesday, but also it is all about the ocean today. And did you know that the ocean is the lungs of the earth, providing over 50% of the world's oxygen? Did you know that?
Absolutely vital, which means any minute change in the ocean's ecology means the whole world suffers. And this year we celebrate World Oceans Day under the theme of life and livelihood. I love that, connecting the socio-economic to the environmental, because they are both equally as important. It's a day where we highlight the dire need to protect our oceans from further deterioration.
And of course, while we do depend on our government to implement laws to save our waters, it is also so important that it is up to us to safeguard this precious resource. I mean, it's all that we have. I mean,
we are the blue planet. Come on. So we're going to be having a lot of fun this morning exploring reasons why we should be treasuring this beautiful resource. But speaking of beautiful resources...
I thought you were going to say, speaking of the guy that's always in the ocean.
He is always in the ocean.
In a Speedo.
She's also quite beautiful. In fact, they are both stunningly beautiful this morning. A very good morning, gang. How you doing, guys?
Oh, the compliments are coming through thick and fast so early on this Tuesday morning. Thank you, Graham. We are doing really, really well. Good morning. I'm Zoe Brown.
And I'm Raul de Morne. And yes, thank you for joining us so bright and early as we kickstart this Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
We're choosing to spend it with you beautiful souls, of course. So what are we talking about this morning on social media?
You know what? We are celebrating World Oceans Day. The ocean is so important. So this morning we want to know from you, what are some of your favorite memories near the ocean? Why I'm in my gym clothes, I don't know for this question.
I think it's that ocean you that you got on the tights. I mean, I can imagine, Giselle, there's so many memories that you must have. Can you pick one?
I have so many, because all of my favorite holidays have always involved the ocean. I was 16 when I got invited on a 3-week yacht trip.
Wow.
And we went to an atoll, which only exists during like low tide. We did some scuba diving. We were up in the Mozambique Canal. It was unbelievable. Island hopping, Vilanculos, all of these Mozambican islands back to Richards Bay, which was hands down one of the best holidays I've been on.
I think anything involving the ocean is just always going to bring good memories. I know for me, being a lifeguard, obviously on the beach, there's so many memories that stick out for me. One that really just, I think is a huge one is we had a mass rescue situation on Boxing Day. And you know, the beach can be beautiful, but it can also be chaotic. And I was just so proud of a team that I was working with. We managed to successfully rescue, complete 18 rescues on the day. It was absolute chaos, no victims, but just to show that, like, there's this chaos and there's this beauty around the ocean. It's such extremes, but at the same time, it's just pure magic.
It is magic. Well, why don't you head on over to social media, let us know some of your favorite memories around the ocean as we celebrate World Ocean Day. But it is now that time of the morning for us to catch up with your morning headlines. Here's Jamie.
Thank you, beautiful souls. We start with those national news headlines. President Cyril Ramaphosa will travel to the G7 Leaders Summit in the tiny English town of Carbis Bay in Cornwall this week, and he will be taking a message of hope on the prospects for South Africa's recovery. In his weekly open letter to the public, Ramaphosa said that SA was making progress in resolving many of its challenges, from corruption to obstacles that discourage investment. He will also discuss SA's move to manufacture own vaccines and pave the way for the development of a local pharmaceutical manufacturing industry. Staying with your local news as well, 6 Hindu temples in Durban have been robbed of priceless artifacts and idols in the past week. This has drawn widespread outrage from the Hindu community on social media, with the perpetrators being labelled as disrespectful and horrendous. Mahasabha President Ashwin Chikamji made a call on social media platforms for scrap metal dealers who have been sold the artifacts and idols to return them in order for them to be restored at the temples. He said it was terribly sad that places of worship had become targets for criminals with no morals. Now, in our international news, the World Bank has temporarily paused payments to operations in Mali following a military coup, while the new Prime Minister warned sanctions would only complicate the country's crisis. The bank's actions add to pressure on Mali's military leadership after Chief Security Ali France announced on Thursday it was suspending joint operations with Malian troops in order to press for a return to civilian rule. Now, the African Union and a West African regional bloc responded to the coup by suspending Mali's membership, but did not impose further sanctions. North Korea has also introduced a sweeping new law which seeks to stamp out any kind of foreign influence, harshly punishing anyone caught with foreign films, clothing such as jeans, or even using slang. Now, anyone caught with media material from South Korea, the US, or Japan faces the death penalty. Those watching foreign films face imprisonment of up to 15 years. Analysts say the leader, Kim Jong-un, is trying to stop outside information reaching North Korea as life there becomes increasingly difficult. Money is funneled into the regime's nuclear ambitions, but millions face starvation. And then next, news of a young woman who wanted to become a mermaid. Another story befitting the theme of today's show, World Oceans Day. Now, Beth Neal spent her childhood in the landlocked city of Johannesburg, and of all childhood fantasies imaginable, hers was a fervent wish to one day become a mermaid. After finishing school, she turned that childhood fantasy into reality, and today she's a 4-time South Africa free diving champion and is affording youth the opportunities she never had as a child. Now, as a free diving instructor at pristine Sodwana Bay on Natal's north coast, Beth's love for the ocean only deepened. In 2019, she broke the South African and African continental record, diving to 50 meters with no fins to raise funds for the educational program Kids on the Reef. Now, through her organization AquaSouls, she has taught over 3,000 children the joys of free diving. She also educates youth on the threats to this ecosystem. She says, and I quote, "It's really important for them to have that experience at a young age so that they will grow up to protect the ocean." Beth is indeed developing a future brimming with compassion for the natural world. On that note, that is where I leave your 6 a.m. news. Here is G with a first look at those sports headlines.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Let's kick it off with tennis, obviously in firm focus at Roland Garros at the moment. World number 1 Novak Djokovic survived a 4th-round scare from Italian teenager Lorenzo Musetti at the French Open yesterday. The top seed beating the 19-year-old 6-7, 6-7, 6-1, 6-love, 4-love. That was after Musetti ended up retiring due to injury. So Djokovic will now face another Italian, Matteo Berrettini, in the last 8. Then the king of clay, Rafa Nadal, also advanced to the quarterfinals after securing a straight set 7-5, 6-3, 6-love win over 18th seed Yannick Sinner. The world number 3 will now face the 10th seed Diego Schwartzman of Argentina in his quarterfinal draw. On the women's side, in the women's singles draw, teenager Coco Gauff, she reached her first ever Grand Slam quarterfinal after beating Tunisian Ons Jabeur at the French Open yesterday. The American beating the 25th seed 6-3, 6-1. Then fellow American and 4th seed Sofia Kenin was knocked out of the competition after going down to Greece's Maria Sakkari 6-1, 6-3 yesterday. The news in the world of rugby, the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman match between the Rebels and Crusaders has been moved from Melbourne to Sydney. This as authorities continue to contain an outbreak of COVID-19 in Victoria, Australia. The Rebels, who sit second from the bottom of the log, will now play their 3rd successive match at the Leichhardt Oval in Sydney when they face the 3rd-place Crusaders on Saturday. That's where we leave our sporting headlines for now. Let's take our first look at the weather and some of your sunrise pictures.
Thank you, Graham, and a thank you to each and every one of you for sharing your beautiful views with us. It really is a wonderful way to start off the day. So starting us off this morning, we received this beautiful image from Andrew Harris from Belito. Just look at that. It's showing off the sun breaking through the clouds. If you're in Belito today, a sunny day can be expected with a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius. Then Tando Nyenkosi Hadebe from Ermelo in Mpumalanga shared this view of the veld at the start of the day. Today, Ermelo can expect times of sun and clouds reaching a mild maximum of only 16 degrees Celsius. So dress warm for the day ahead. If you would like to be featured in one of our weather segments, it's really simple. All you need to do is head on over to the Expresso Facebook page to share your photo and location with us, and we would love to see how you start your mornings in your side of the world. And while we love interacting with our local viewers, we also have to give a shout out to our international viewers that tune in via the Africa channel and YouTube. Now this morning we give a brief update on the weather forecast for Geneva in Switzerland. It is the second most populous city in Switzerland, a financial center and a worldwide center for diplomacy due to the presence of numerous international organizations, including the headquarters of many agencies of the United Nations and the Red Cross. Now if you are in Geneva today, expect periods of clouds and sunshine with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm reaching a maximum of 22 degrees Celsius. Now for some news from the drought-stricken Eastern Cape, the Kouga municipality has requested the Eastern Cape government to have the municipality declared a disaster area due to the prolonged drought. The municipality draws its water from the Kouga Dam, which currently has a water level of 4%. The towns of Jeffreys Bay, Potensi and Hankie are facing a day zero scenario. Kouga municipality has since 2018 drilled 40 boreholes and diverted water from Humansdorp to Hankie to alleviate the effect of the drought, while more than 200 water tanks have also been installed in informal residential areas. These interventions cost 151 million rand. Kouga Mayor Horatio Hendricks says the municipality needs some 100 million rand to extend the time frame for the dawning of day zero. Hendricks says a drought disaster declaration will unlock some funds to assist the municipality to deal with infrastructure challenges and drill more boreholes. He says the private sector has also been asked to assist. On that note, let's quickly look at your temperatures in South Africa. If you're in Polokwane, today a partly cloudy day with a low of 5, a high of 17. Mbombela, expect a low of 9, a high of 24. Pretoria 7, 16. Johannesburg 6 with a cool 14 as a maximum. Partly cloudy conditions in Mahikeng today with a high of 18. Klerksdorp 3 reaching a high of 18. If you're in Kimberley today, a low of 8 with a high of 17 can be expected. Bloemfontein 2 reaching a high of 17, Richards Bay 13, 24, Pietermaritzburg 6, 23. If you're in Durban, sunny conditions with a high of 23 degrees Celsius. Mthatha sunny with a low of 4, a high of 23. East London 13, reaching a high of 26. Partly cloudy in Cradock, 3 is your low, 21 your high. Gqeberha 12, reaching a high of 26. Partly cloudy conditions in George, 12 is your low, 25 your high. Cape Town 12 with a high of 21. Worcester partly cloudy with a high of 21. Some rain can be expected in Sutherland today. 5 is your low, 14 your high, and a 60% chance of rain in Uppington with a low of 11 and a high of 17 degrees Celsius. That's where I leave your weather for now. We'll have another update at 7 o'clock.
Thank you so much. So, heartbreaking day yesterday, not just for the entertainment industry, but I think for South Africa at large. The loss of an icon who has touched the lives of many through her talent is always a bitter pill to swallow. And of course, yesterday, Mzansi learned the unbelievably sad news that veteran stage, film and television actress, a legend, Charlene Richards, passed away at the age of 66. Heartbreaking.
Beautiful life, and we are going to remember that this morning. She was actually actually born in Uppington on the 7th of May, 1955. She qualified as a nursery school teacher, teaching between 1974 and 1984, while performing as an amateur in stage productions. And then she's launched her professional acting career in 1984. She broke boundaries as a colored actress in a major film when she starred as Phila Kumati in the 1988 movie Phila Second.
It's incredible how she's become a household name.
She was a part of our DNA. She was like, that was set work stuff, you know, so I think every South African child who studied that at school would have made that emotion, and she was so good in that.
And to do something like that for so many decades, over 40 years, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, you're looking at things like Generations, Seven Delan, the list goes on, and more recently even Arend's Flay as well, which was incredible. And I know it was listed for well, she was sharing a lot of her struggles along this period as well, but phenomenal to be involved in such important and such big household names as well.
Like a goalie as well.
Goalie, yeah.
Something I grew up on, open time. Waiting for the free channel to come through.
Yeah, she was everybody's auntie, and she was hugely appreciated by her own industry, receiving honours from the Naledi Theatre Awards, and the Royalty Soapia Awards, and the Fleur de Cap Theatre Awards as well. She is undoubtedly leaving an indelible mark in the industry, and I think she'll be remembered for her authenticity, or authentic portrayal, something she discussed with us, in fact, on this show back in 2017. Take a look.
You know, what we love about you is you always seem to pick characters that are so relatable. And that is why you, as an actor and as a person, is so relatable. What do you enjoy most about the characters that you play?
Honesty, the honesty. I try to portray my characters as honest as possible, because there's a lot of emotional scenes, and I always tell people it's not about being able to cry, it's about being honest in your portrayal. Then you'll get your audience. You will get them if you're honest.
Absolutely.
As when you cry and you feel sorry for yourself, you lose them just like that.
Yeah, and also I think vulnerability. You've got to allow yourself to be vulnerable too, hey? That's powerful stuff. I added that, I'm just like...
I think right now there are so many people in our game remembering the day they got to interview her, or the many times they've been lucky enough to interview her. I think what hit home for me was because she was so comedic and just so naturally funny. When she did take it to that dramatic place, and I mean, you as an actor will love that dynamic where it just hit so much harder because she was able to really, really kind of capture that emotion. To her loved ones, to the massive, massive following within the industry, to all of her fans, we are sending our most heartfelt condolences, the loss of an industry legend.
Only you can make my day.
Strap yourself in to this hand-built 5-liter sedan. An engineering marvel that could drive your spend into the red. Accelerating your lifestyle beyond your means. In this world of chasing status, do you want a bank that takes your money, or a bank that takes your money seriously?
It's my feel good
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. It's Tuesday. We're opening up live right here on S3 with Expresso. And of course, if you think about life, it's always too short, especially when it comes to wearing boring shoes right now. Whether you work or play, gym, lunch, dates, or anything that you name it, sneakers are always welcome. And of course, these days, they're also the most preferred footwear option of the entire look. So today, Mzansi, I need your help. I need you to come through and help me choose the perfect sneaker to match my look today. And I've got two options for you. The first one, which I think is pretty cool, it's a trendy sneaker. It's got a high top design, plain finish, but I think it's got a really cool opportunity to be paired with something like a long bottom or a shorts. If you've got a pair of calves as well, why not show it off in these? I think they always look really cool. A good set of legs always looks good in a good pair of canvas shoes. And I like the fact that it's not too out there, so you really can work this, play it up or down. Then we've got something of, well, this is option 2. We're going into more of a leather range. So this has got a minimalist look to it. It's a sneaker with a great design. I think it's perfect for that sort of smart casual look. Work well with like a sort of tailored suit or anything along those lines. Nice and preppy, nice and clean. And of course, guys, I need you to help me out. Which one is going to look good with the current look that I've got going on? So you can vote, obviously, on the sneaker that you love. Head over to the Expresso social media pages. Comment on the poll post, and I will wear whatever it is that you think I'm going to look best in. So make me look good, Mzansi. I hope you're looking after me.
Oh, Raul, they are looking after you because I have to say, too many to choose from.
Yep, I love that, man. And he's going to put his right foot forward this morning, but you've got to help him out. And of course, we had the opportunity recently of catching up with an amazing human being, never mind one of the most talented musicians in the country at the moment, Langa Mavuso, and this is how it went down.
Thank you very much, family. You know I love to be on the road. When I get on the road, all the feel-good comes your way. And this morning, we're coming to you from Johannesburg, out at Flame Studios, and catching up with one of my favorite artists, probably your favorite artist too. It's Langa Mavuso, whose album Langa has been nominated at this year's Summers in the category of Best R&B and Soul. And of course, I thought, well, that's not the only reason, but it's a perfect excuse to get on the road and go hear Langa sing for us. And that's what's going to be happening. You're in for a treat this morning. Langa, good morning. Thanks so much for making the time.
Morning, Tubbsy. How are you?
I'm so good, and you're so chilled. Is it because it's so early in the morning?
It's because I'm at Flame Studios. It's a comfortable space.
It's a comfortable space. Let's start here. You know, your transition into music has to have been a really smooth one, because I believe both your parents are musicians, and so you must have grown up in a house where music was the theme of life. It was the soundtrack to your life. Your parents must have either encouraged you to get into music by saying, in this house we only just sing.
Definitely not. My parents didn't want me to go into this industry, and in fact they encouraged me to pursue other aspects of careers, you know, and things that I was good at. And so I kind of forced my way through the industry and just pursuing music. I convinced them to let me go to the National School of the Arts. I had to convince them to let me transfer from a PPE degree to music, and so it was always a journey of trying to convince them, but eventually they came around. And my mom told me the other day that she's proud of me, and so I'm really glad that I took that leap of faith and trusted myself. And so, yeah.
And then you went on to study a BA in politics and economics before deciding to move over to jazz and music and all of that at UCT. What made you change your mind?
I think for me, I really knew that I wanted to pursue music, and I think I'd watched something. I was going through like some kind of existential crisis, and I asked myself the question, like, what would you do every single day if you didn't need to be paid for it? And it was music. I knew that even if I wasn't paid to do it, it was still something that I would do, and so that's what kind of influenced that decision.
Well, let's speak about your album, Langa, which came out. First of all, your fans had been waiting a really long time. When I say your fans, I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking collectively for so many people out there who waited for the album to come out. And it came out during the most interesting time, in the middle of a pandemic. What was it like recording an album during that time and then releasing it?
So luckily the album was finished by the time the pandemic happened. I recorded it over 3 years in 3 different locations. I recorded it in London, in Cape Town, and in Joburg. And so the process of creating music was quite easy for me. I took my time with it, and I really wanted to be intentional with the music that I was creating. And so that part was easy. Releasing an album during a pandemic was a bit of a challenge because traditionally, once you put out music, you will promote it and go around the country and make sure that everyone gets an opportunity to experience you and to experience the music. And so that was the biggest challenge for us, you know, sitting behind a computer and having to do all of these interviews and doing telephonic radio interviews. You kind of miss that essence of like humanity and connection. And so I really thought that was the biggest challenge, because I think we were also going through like virtual fatigue, you know, of sorts. And so that was the biggest challenge, really.
So for the album, you pulled out all the stops. You went all the way. You brought out some heavyweights in terms of the people you collaborated with. Let's talk about that. Who did you collaborate with? Tell everyone. Brag now.
My biggest collaborators on this album have to be the producers. I worked with some incredible people. I worked with Lyndon J, who does Sinead Hart, Sam Smith, Tom Mish. And I worked with Noble, who produced Find Your Way Back for Beyonce, Amifaku's Ebai, Manu World Stars. Yeah, and these are people that I went to school with at UCT. Lyndon I was connected with in the UK. And so the journey of collaborating with them was really easy for me because I felt safe to be vulnerable, and that's all I needed, you know. I really needed to be around people where I could be honest about my life and the journey that I was on and the healing that I was seeking through the journey of writing the album. And so those producers were incredible, and I'm so grateful that I worked with them.
And you know what? The thing is that it translates. The music came through, and when we listened to your album, and as we continue to listen to your album, I think we get to experience and share in the emotions where we are sad with you, we're crying with you, we're also reflecting on our own experiences and connecting in the most beautiful way. It's so dynamic. Langa, that's the name of the album. But of course, Langa is the man himself. He's here on your Feel Good Breakfast show to elevate the Feel Good this morning. And there's some performances coming your way as well, so you got to make sure that you stick around for that. You're going to make me coffee now?
Oh, I absolutely love that, and a real opportunity at the moment. I think Langa is one of those guys whose wave is breaking as we speak. Hot property, and I love the fact that he's kind of opened up and become so vulnerable through this particular album, even naming it Langa. Really great way to get to know the musician, and of course he's going to be performing right here on your Feel Good Breakfast show, so stick around for that. But right now, coffee.
That's right. And the one thing that gets us singing every single morning is our first cup of coffee.
Yep.
Now, without our trusty Nespresso machine, it wouldn't be possible. So this Gran Latisma has become part of our family. You've got one at home, I've got one at home, and it's one of Nespresso's top machines and has all of the features that all coffee lovers who loves convenience can wish for. I mean, just looking here, you can make a cappuccino, you can make an espresso, a lungo, hot foam milk, anything, literally by the push of the button from the comfort.
It turns you into a little bit of a barista because you've got like the one-touch convenience if you want. So that's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to make you a cappuccino this morning because we love it.
There we go.
So I'm going to pop our little. I'm going to use Colombia.
Yes.
Okay, yes, because it's pink. No, because it's one of my favorite flavors. Really nice intensity, beautifully well-rounded.
There we
Turn
go.
it on and
a cappuccino.
And let it do its. What is your favorite? What do you make yourself?
I bounce between a latte and a cappuccino. I do love milk with my coffee. I haven't mastered. You're putting the stove on.
Whoa.
I haven't mastered the black coffee.
Lighting me up with this conversation.
But it's okay. Yeah, I'm a cappuccino or a latte girl. And for you?
I make my own, okay? It's kind of a cappuccino vibe because I'm the kind of guy who goes in and orders a quad from a restaurant. You know this.
Yes.
So for me, I like to kind of double up. I'll maybe use 2 capsules, get a bit more coffee volume, and then I'll show you. The nice thing is they've got a hot foam kind of, there we go, that is all yours.
Oh, that's my
Grab it.
cappuccino. Thank you.
All yours.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Looks beautiful. So what I would do is I'm going to do a Colombia as well. I don't know why I'm saying it with an accent.
It's okay. It's
sounds,
normal.
Yeah, it just sounds better in honor of Carl. So I will go a lungo.
There we go. I love that you like play around. You don't stick to the preset
and it probably ends up exactly the same, but I just like the power that comes with it. And obviously it's got its 4 milk recipes. You've got cappuccino, you've got flat white. So cappuccino is coffee, then milk, flat white is milk, then coffee. You've got cafe latte, and then you've got latte macchiato. But you've also got the hot milk and milk froth options, and that's what I'm going to do now. I just like to see the creamer of the coffee on top like that, that beautiful layer of, for me, what really captures all of, so I'll take it to the rim and then I will go hot foam.
There we go.
And then I'll finish it off, just to I make sure that I get full value out of my cup of coffee.
You're teaching me something new here. There we go.
And this is quite nice if you've got guests and you want to kind of make it look really zhuzh, like they're sitting in a restaurant, and then you take it to wherever you want it.
There we go.
Ta-da!
You can see you've been playing around with your machine.
I love this. My Grand Latissima is my best friend. It really is. And
well,
there I have it.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers, man.
There we go. And you know what's amazing? Father's Day, it is around the corner. It's
yes,
the 20th of June. And if your dad is a coffee lover, Nespresso has a Father's Day promotion where you can save up to 20% when you purchase a machine like the Grand Latissima and get 10 sleeves of coffee for free.
For free, do it.
For free. There we go.
Oh, that's
now you have to sing.
With every cup, we cultivate some of the finest coffee in the world, celebrating farmers as artists, elevating every coffee moment, because with every cup, precious coffee preserves the beauty of our world. Nespresso, what else?
Plan your next holiday with Marriott Hotels. Explore the best of Mzansi from our incredible coastlines, mountains, nature retreats, and bush escapes. Marriott Bonvoy members enjoy 20% off standard rates, plus free breakfast, and non-members 15% off, and with flexible cancellation. Not yet a member? Join when you book. Book now on Marriott.com for the best rates guaranteed.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, gang. Let's get excited about reading, as I do every night as I read to my child. It's actually one of the great joys of my life, and his as well. As the saying goes, a storybook is a gift that you can open again and again and again. Absolutely love it. And did you know, by visiting cadbury.co.za, you can help ensure that all children can enjoy African language tales in their own home language by translating just one word a day. That will help to co-author, if you will, a library full of children's storybooks. Hashtag in our own words.
And
amazing.
This is so necessary because we have so many diverse languages in our own country, and you know what? We need your help. So today's word is country, and we want to know how you say country in your own language.
So here's the thing, Zoe, you're the only one that does not speak, well,
my home language
your home language is Afrikaans. So you can teach us today. How do you say country in Afrikaans?
So country in Afrikaans is land.
Land?
Land. L-A-N-D. Land.
But even hearing you say that, it's such an evocative word. It's not just your country. As soon as you say it, learnt. I'm thinking of poems that I've read. I'm thinking of our national anthem. I'm thinking it's evocative. When you start to translate something, you explore that culture, the deeper meaning. Imagine what it's going to be like for a child reading in their own language for the first time. It's going to be magical, man.
Well, of course, Cadbury Dairy Milk is translating a word a day so that all children can enjoy enchanting tales in their home language. Now, all you have to do is visit cadbury.co.za and help create storybooks, hashtag in our own words today. It is exciting, and we all need to get in on this. Yeah.
Welcome back, beautiful souls. Now we've got a special soul in the building right now. A 9-time South African surfing champion, a professional surf coach, and a business owner. Now her name is Roxy Davis, and she's standing by to take us through an easy yet effective winter stretch routine. Now it's perfect for those cold winter mornings, and you can wake up and warm up with us right from the comfort of your very bedroom. That's right. So these simple stretches that activate the parasympathetic nervous system, increase blood flow, and of course also increase and improve oxygen levels. Now, Roxy's here to show us how it's done. A professional in the game, an advocate and an ambassador of the ocean. I'm so glad to have you. Obviously, it's World Ocean Day as well, so we're celebrating a lot of things. So what are we doing today exactly?
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to do just a basic stretch routine, and we're focusing on mobility. So through winter, you want to keep yourself mobile and quite active, especially when you're getting up in the morning and it's hard to get up.
And you're tight and you got these aches. Okay.
Yes. So we're going to start just on our knees.
Okay, beautiful. And am I right in saying that, I mean, Mzansi, you guys can literally join us right now.
Anyone can do
this. On your
this.
lounge floor, on the bed, get involved. This is going to be a perfect way to warm you up and kickstart the day.
Absolutely. So we're just going to start with your feet apart. You're almost going to sit on your haunches.
On my haunches, all right.
And we're going to start with our arms. So put your arms out, drop your shoulders nice and low, and then just get your thumbs down.
Okay.
And up.
So I'm feeling it in like the maybe, actually, I don't know if it's posterior or anterior, but the entire adult region's kind of feeling like it's getting worked. You like that rotator cuff kind of feel. Is that correct?
Absolutely. You're starting to wake your body up. And not just your body, your mind is waking up too.
Yes, please. I need some of that. It's still early in the morning out here in the studio as well. Okay, and then how long would you do this for? How many reps would you go for in total?
You would probably do about 20 seconds.
Okay.
So you don't want a really long morning routine. As I said, it's for your body and a bit for your mind as well, just to get you ready. So we're going to go from there. You're going to move onto your bum.
Right. I must just say, after that stretch, I started to feel it in my forearms as well, the extremities of my fingers.
Absolutely. You'll feel that burn.
Yeah, the little tingle.
So you're going to put your arms, so hands facing back. Okay. You're just going to lift your torso up.
Whoa. All right.
You'll feel this again in your arms. And tight squeeze.
So a bit of a stretch almost in the pec area and the shoulders, right?
Absolutely.
That's good. And then again,
burn.
If you're not strong enough, because I'm already feeling a bit of stimulation in the glutes, the hamstrings have to work a bit.
And back up. You're just saying good morning to your body, letting it do its thing.
Good morning.
And down. And up. And really, these stretches are for anyone at any age. And down. I would say probably what I did in my 20s, I can't do in my 30s, but I know that I can do these stretches.
I feel you on that. I always say to myself, I wish I did these when I was younger. I wish I did more mobility when I was younger, because it's the very thing that stops you from getting injured. It increases your mobility. It allows, like we said, a lot of that good blood flow to occur. So starting your day like this is perfect.
You're going to go from the side, so just side to side over here. Try keep your bum on the ground as much as you can, and just a gentle twist. Okay. So you're just opening up your hips.
Opening up the hips, all right.
Feel it?
Oh, there we go. Now, this is a good one, Mzansi. This is awesome for opening up those hips, getting that psoas to also kind of just get stimulated as well. It's going to help us with our posture in the day, I would imagine, too.
Really will.
Get some good tall posture and a good breathing in as well.
It's really important to focus on your breathing, so making sure that you're getting good deep breaths in, breaths out. A lot of people underestimate the importance of breathing. So they wake up, they'll rush with a cup of coffee in the morning, and they'll just go, 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 without actually focusing on what's going in and out.
I think I can relate to that right now. I mean, as we started the session, I was pumped and I was psyched on the show, obviously being full of energy. Doing this, it's kind of changing my pace a bit. It's letting me like just be a bit more aware, focusing more on my breathing, being a bit more conscious as we go through this.
And you'll feel you're more mindful about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you're going to splay your feet apart, almost like a frog. And you're going to stretch back.
Whoa, that's pretty hectic. I'm gonna try that out.
This is just really elongating our spine, stretching our arms out, and you can feel it.
So I'm feeling, as much as I'm feeling the tension down in the hip there, I am feeling it as I'm splaying my foot out, so that articulation is quite lacking for me. I see you almost got you've got your ankles on the ground. I don't know if you can, I'm gonna turn around. I'm just gonna show you guys. There's a weird view though, but the mobility that I have compared to Sally is crazy. I'm trying to get this ankle down on the ground, and look how close I am. I'm like, I'm nowhere near.
So this stretch is really lovely because you can go as far as you are comfortable going.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really have to go all the way down. I can't touch my toes, but I can really just stretch.
I guess that's the beauty of stretching as well. I mean, you're always going to your in range, you're going to your limit, so you're always going to get that good stimulation out of it, no matter what level you're on, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, now this one I'm going to definitely incorporate into my daily because I've just found a new weakness that I need to work on. I love this.
And again, you can do this anywhere. You know, you can do it in your lounge like we're doing right now, or you can do it before you're about to start a run routine or anything else. And the last one, you're going to put your feet apart, and you're just going to tuck your tailbone in, head down. You can arch your spine as far as you can. So keeping your mobility strong and being mobile as much as you can is so important for your health and your wellness in your body and your mind. It's not just stretching for your physical, but it's stretching for your mental health as well.
And also just kind of priming this beautiful vessel that we've been blessed with. I mean, the fact that you can prove to us that you're winning 9 championships, I mean, that's no easy feat, and the vessel needs to really perform constantly for that. So clearly there's more to this than just the feel-good. I mean, you can literally start taking over the world, it seems. But, I mean, Roxy, I can't thank you enough. I would probably spend the whole morning doing this because you're really getting me to that feel-good factor. I'm feeling like I've just got a little bit more of that stress shaken off me, and I'm ready to kind of assert myself into the day. So thank you for that session. I believe we're going to be chatting to you a little bit later, so I'm looking forward to that. And you guys don't go anywhere because we've got more from the world champ, the entrepreneur, the business owner. She's everything. She's Roxy Davids. We'll see you later.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. You're still live right here, opening up with S3 on Expresso show. And early on the show, of course, while I was busy with my training, you guys were also voting on helping me out for this good look that I'm trying to achieve for the rest of the day. And of course, good shoes take you to good places, right? So we asked you to vote for the pair of sneakers that you thought was the best. And let's find out what you had to say before we come and weigh in on those final votes. So The lads and the lasses came through this morning. We're starting off with Joan Cameron, who says, I think the leather sneaker will go with the clothes Raul Rene Demone has on today. I like how she used my full name there. Raul Rene Demone. Very leathery. And then we've got Santosh Ashleen saying the high tops. Trevor Ngobo saying option number 1. I think that was also the canvas high tops. We've got Emil Kukumur. Good morning, Espresso team. Definitely the leather sneakers. Ooh, so it's like 50-50 already at the moment. We see Lee Haywin Jacobs going for the leather sneakers are out over there. So we already got like 5 votes coming in, sort of 50-50. Another one from Tabo for the leather sneakers. Tabo Setati, thank you for coming through with the tips. Shireen Abraham says, good morning, Raul and the Thai Expresso team. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you, Shireen. Now, I go for the leather sneakers to complete your smart casual look. Have an awesome day, team. Lots of love. And then Anthea Langeveld says leather sneakers. Oh, the leathers are coming through now. Looks like they're taking the lead. More classy and stylish, says Anthea. Thank you. And then Luther Pendulo says Luther says leather sneakers because they'll definitely complete the look. And then it looks like Tavando Vellum says leather sneakers too. It was 50-50 at the start there, but I think the leather ones have definitely come through. Let me grab one over here for you guys. Thank you, Mzansi. This looks good. I'm going to definitely add this to the rest of my look. Of course, I just finished a workout with Roxy Davis, so I couldn't get change in time. But as promised, I will get into this, and I'm going to start looking as stylish and ever. And I can't thank you enough for making me look this good too well. Let's find out later what the look comes through. But if you want this look as well, you can shop it online, in-store. And it's obviously your favorite sneakers that are all available at Woolworths. So find it on the app, find it online, and find your style, because I know these are definitely mine. Thank you, Mzansi.
Oh, Ryle, but you better hurry up. You don't want to miss out on our next performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, earlier on, we had the opportunity to chat to Langa Mavuso. What a gem he is. He's just breaking into the music scene and elevating us here on your Feel Good Breakfast show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for staying with your Feel Good Breakfast show. It is Expresso. We're here on S3, upping the Feel Good this morning, having such a great time hanging out with Langa Mavuso. Of course, we're chatting all things Langa, the summer-nominated R&B and soul album of the year. Fantastic stuff coming your way. Keep it tightly locked. Of course, remember to use that hashtag Expresso show. Right now, he takes to the stage over here at Flame Studios out in Johannesburg, performing Mvula. Take it away, Langa.
Mvula yami kimanzi njena uthando lwakho sandwa sami konakele kodwa ngisakuthanda cabanga wena ngifuna wena wedwa sing it to me. Break it and pull me apart at the seams. I know it ain't broken. I felt it, we lost it. I trusted the process, thought we'd never make it. I don't wanna be a fool again. I don't wanna be the one to scream and shout, but let the rain fall, wash us clean of yesterday. Yehla thando lwami, let the rain fall, wash us clean of yesterday. Yehla thando lwami, yehla thando lwami, no, 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 no love, no love, no, 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 no love. Kimani mbeke kisibuza ngawe sweet love. First love, a dream of tragic fate, a warmth of broken hearts like morning state, cold in its weight. Wash me clean of this embrace. Mvula yami sithandwa sami yehla, yehla thando lwami, yehla moya wami, oh wami, oh, yehla moya, moya wami, moya wami.
Oh, come on, somebody. What do you know about that? Ladies and gents, it's Langa Mavuso. Like, where do you go? Where do you go? Because you definitely zone out of here and into another dimension altogether. Tell me about that specific song, Mvula, and where it takes you.
Yeah, so I wrote Mvula about 3 years ago, and it was really about trying to understand the place that I was in a relationship, and understanding that I could either drown from this or just allow it to cleanse me. And so I chose cleansing, and the song is really about that, letting the ending of love to cleanse you. And so love takes the personification of water and the rain specifically. And so, yeah, I kind of go there to that moment in my life.
And we see it. You take us along with you on this journey, and hopefully that's transported you in your mind somewhere where you're deep in thought. Maybe share some of those thoughts with us. Why not? Expresso Morning Show, SABC3 on Facebook with that hashtag Expresso Show. We're coming to you from the Flame Studios out at the Constitution Hill. Fantastic space. In fact, Langa's shot a music video in this sort of surrounding before, right?
We've done another show here, actually.
Ah, you see.
Another one for S3.
The place to be. Don't say I don't plug you. 2 more performances coming from the man himself, so stick around. We'll see you in a bit.
Thank you, Uncle Tabzi. As you heard, more performances coming from Langa Mavuso on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
There's also World Ocean Day, so you want to stick around for that. Roxy Davis is still here with us and telling us all about her foundation. So lots more coming your way here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Only you can make my day.
Welcome back as we continue to celebrate, to revel in World Oceans Day. Should be every day, but today is that special day, and this year's theme is titled Life and Livelihoods, which I love. It combines the ecology with the socio-economic impact of our oceans, certainly two things that have been affected by the pandemic as well, and we have 9-time South African surf champion. That's crazy. Successful businesswoman and the founder of the Roxy Davis Foundation MPO joining us in studio to talk about how they are using the ocean to heal lives. Another layer, an emotional layer. You've changed, you know, you've changed as well. Both of you have changed so much.
Enough time. I'm still warm, still feeling that.
Yeah, I'm glad you had the opportunity to kind of loosen up and get us into the mode, but now we're going to talk business because this is your business.
Yeah, and an incredible foundation, which I love the work you guys are doing, but for everybody that doesn't know about it, using the ocean for such a beautiful cause, what exactly is this mission about?
Well, the mission for me started 25 years ago when I entered the ocean, and it changed my life. But what we really are doing is we're breaking down the barriers to entry. For individuals with a disability, physical, intellectual, cognitive, or sensory disability, they really can't do the things that we are doing. So just the simple thing of going down to the beach, touching the sand, being in the ocean for the first time is something that a lot are not able to actually experience. So we're giving them that opportunity to be weightless in the ocean and experience out of a wheelchair and being able to move again.
Flying again almost, if you think about it, yeah?
I had the opportunity to go with a gentleman well into his 90s to step on a beach for the first time. And it was and Cape Town gave us one of the most kind of elemental days, waves of mass, and it was so emotional just to be a part of that experience. When you look at adaptive surfing in particular, I think this is where the magic really does happen, and I'm sure it's changed you. And dealing with paralysis, cerebral palsy, blindness, autism, amputations, it really does become an amazing tool in that sense. How has this affected you, changed you, and most importantly, the people that you've been kind of allowing to enter into this process?
It's quite incredible for me. I get emotional even just talking about it because it's the joy that I vision on their faces of those surfers and the lives that they're changing, but not just the surfers' lives, the volunteers' lives that are participating, the family members that are getting to spend 5 minutes on the beach, you know, enjoying a hands-free moment or being in the water with their young surfers as well. So when we started, we thought it was the participants or the surfers themselves, but it's created this movement that's just bigger than what I had ever anticipated in terms of changing lives.
The community.
I mean, the fact that you're talking about changing lives goes to the extent of you actually doing research to essentially prove that or see the efficacy of that. I mean, in terms of surf as a therapy, what research has kind of like come through from the surface, so to speak, or bubbled up to the surface that really shows positivity to this being a perfect form of therapy?
It's really interesting that you asked that question because when I started looking into, I could visibly see the difference in what's happening to our surfers in their lives. And I started, you know, digging deeper into the research, and globally, there's very little research. There's more happening in the last 2 years now. But initially, there was you know, hardly any. I think there were about 13 research papers worldwide when I had started my research journey 2 years ago. And I'm doing a master's in disability studies through UCT. And
of course you are.
Just add that to that list, man.
And we're looking at the benefits of surf therapy for children in the Western Cape that have disabilities. And we're really just exploring the areas of significant change in their lives. And we're interviewing their parents and their practitioners, so teachers, OTs, physios, to see what the outcomes are going to be. Because it's so new, we have no idea, but we're 4 weeks into the actual practical side of our surf therapy now, so we run every Friday afternoon, and I cannot believe what I'm seeing, and I can't wait to document it.
Yeah, there is science there that is going to, I think, highlight the importance. And again, it reinforces just another layer as to why we should be protecting the ocean as a resource, yes. But it starts to unlock potential. Like you say, that hands-free moment. What does that mean for those parents to be able to let go for a second in that space? And for those children, you kind of think that a child, because they are dealing with a physical disability, they're often locked in their own body. If you can unlock that, allow their mind to be free, that's amazing. You've mentioned volunteers, so I'm guessing that's one area that you need help. How else can people help you in your mission, your drive?
So our foundation is a non-profit organization. We've actually just got our Section 18A certificate. So in terms of our needs, essentially volunteers, we always need volunteers in the water, but we really just need the funding to continue to operate. So getting our surfers from Gugulethu and Khayelitsha into the ocean, that takes, transportation, upskilling our volunteers and our surf coaches to be, water safe in the water. And all of that really essentially takes funding. So getting the life jackets, getting the helmets, continuing to grow to be able to offer this to more and more surfers. We have a waiting list of over 150 surfers wanting to participate, and our only limitation right now is the capacity in terms of funding and support.
So you want to do it properly. When you do it, I guarantee you there is a corporate right now that is sitting that has just had a light bulb moment, that has the funding, that has the budget that needs to be spent right now, and this is what you need to focus on. We're going to keep those details right up here. roxydavis.co.za is where you can get a wealth of information, find out what this incredible human being is doing in the world, and maybe this could become your passion project. But we need the funds, we need volunteers, and we need the mindset to change.
2 minutes before 7 o'clock, time to have a look at those news headlines. We start with your local news. South Africans without medical aid will not be allowed to walk into a private COVID-19 vaccine site without an appointment. Instead, the uninsured must be referred to a public healthcare facility. Now, the Department of Health has said that it would not pay for uninsured walk-ins to private sites. The exception is that private sector sites are authorized to vaccinate uninsured walk-ins aged 80 years and older, but not more than 5% of the site's vaccine allocation, and to reclaim costs from the state. Staying with your local news as well, President Cyril Ramaphosa will travel to the G7 Leader Summit in the tiny English town of Carbis Bay in Cornwall this week, and he will be taking a message of hope on the prospects for South Africa's recovery. Now, in his weekly open letter to the public, Ramaphosa said that South Africa was making progress in resolving many of its challenges, from corruption to obstacles that discourage investment. He will also discuss South Africa's move to manufacture own vaccines and pave the way for the development of a local pharmaceutical manufacturing industry. Now going to news abroad. In our international news, meanwhile, some 5,000 police officers, Coast Guard members, as well as 150 police dogs and a large fleet of drones will be deployed to Cornwall as the world's most powerful leaders descend on the quaint English seaside town of Carbis Bay with a population of only 3,500. Now, the extensive security operation will cost 70 million euros, the equivalent of just under 1.5 billion rand. It will be the first major in-person meeting of leaders from Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the US since the coronavirus pandemic struck in March 2020. The World Bank has also temporarily paused payments to operations in Mali following a military coup, while the new Prime Minister warned sanctions would only complicate the country's crisis. The bank's actions add to pressure on Mali's military leadership after chief security ally France announced on Thursday it was suspending joint operations with Malian troops in order to press for a return to civilian rule. Now, the African Union and a West African regional bloc responded to the coup by suspending Mali's membership, but did not impose further sanctions. And now some sad news from the world of entertainment. Tributes have been pouring in from far and wide for the South African icon of stage, screen and TV, Charlene Richards, who passed away in Cape Town on Sunday at the age of 66. She was in the mother city shooting scenes for the TV series Arend's Flay. Now, the multi-award winning actress starred in iconic roles, including those in Phila Sekund and Igoli. Richards, described by film producer Mfundi Vundla as one of the greatest dramatic actors in the country with a tremendous comic sense, won more than 40 awards for her stellar work in the entertainment industry. Referring to Richards' impressive performance in the film Phila Sekund, Cape Town Artscape Theatre's CEO Marlene Leroux said that it was not just a role, it was about the lives of persons of color. She added, "I think that's why she could make that role an iconic one." Her character was Charlene. Actress and friend Vanette Ibrahim said she was an inspiration to many and added, "She's left behind a trail of work and a trail of love, touching a trail of people, especially the youngsters." And to a family, we say our thoughts are with you. Well, that is where I leave your 7 a.m. news headlines. Here's G one more time with a look at the sports.
Roland Garros in firm focus at the moment, so we start with tennis world number one. Novak Djokovic survived a fourth-round scare from Italian teenager Lorenzo Musetti at the French Open yesterday. Top seed beating the 19-year-old 6-7, 6-7, 6-1, 6-love, 4-love, showing a lot of mental strength in that one. So after Musetti retired due to injury in the end, Djokovic will now face another Italian, Matteo Berrettini, in the last 8. Then the king of clay, Rafa Nadal, he's also advanced to the quarterfinals after securing a straight set 7-5, 6-3, 6-love win over 18-seed Yannick Sinner. The world number 3 will now face the 10th-seeded Diego Schwartzman of Argentina in the quarterfinals. And staying with the women's singles draw now, teenager Coco Gauff reached her first ever Grand Slam quarterfinal after beating Tunisian Ons Jabeur at the French Open yesterday. The American beating the 25th seed 6-3, 6-1. That while her fellow American and 4th seed Sofia Kenin was knocked out of the competition after going down to Greece's Maria Sakkari 6-1, 6-3 yesterday. Then finally, news off the field in rugby. The Super Rugby Trans-Tasman match between the Rebels and Crusaders has now had to be moved from Melbourne to Sydney as authorities continue to contain an outbreak of COVID-19 in Victoria in Australia. The Rebels, who sit second from the bottom of the log, will now play their 3rd successive match at the Lichard Oval in Sydney when they face the 3rd-placed Crusaders, and that's on Saturday. We'll touch on those headlines again in an hour or so. Right now, let's see how the skies are looking in your part of this beautiful country.
Thank you, Graham, and they're certainly very beautiful. And thank you to all of our viewers that have taken the time to photograph and share their sunrise views with us. It really is a great way to start off the day. And for our 7 o'clock update, we have this beautiful image of the sky filled with hues of pinks, blues, oranges, and yellows. And that is shared by Ashan Williams from George. If you're in George today, expect a maximum of 25 degrees Celsius. And the next one is a very special one shared by a viewer en route to the UAE. Ridwan Hassan took this beautiful photo from Windhoek, Namibia, while on a stopover between flights. Now, if you're on Windhoek today, you can expect mostly sunny and pleasant day ahead with a maximum of 22 degrees Celsius. Please don't hesitate to share your sunrise photos with us on the Expresso Facebook page. We really do love seeing how you start your day. And while we enjoy experiencing a sunrise from your parts of South Africa, we do have some international viewers who tune in both through YouTube and the Africa channel in the US. And this morning we report on the weather from Big Bear Lake in California. Big Bear Lake is a small city in the San Bernardino Mountains along the south shore of Big Bear Lake, surrounded by the San Bernardino National Forest. Big Bear Lake is Southern California's four-season mountain lake escape. Big Bear Lake is also the jewel of San Bernardino National Forest and known for excellent fishing, snowboarding, skiing, hiking, mountain biking, and so much more. And today's forecast is mostly sunny, but also a cool day with a maximum of 20 degrees Celsius. And now for some news of the repair to ecological damage. The Western Cape government has launched the Holsloot-Weir River project to the value of some 178 million rand, which is set to benefit 150 farming households in the Rawsonville area. The Weir is a river protection intervention aimed to ensuring functioning ecosystems. Speaking at the official opening, Agricultural MEC Dr. Ivan Meyer said the project is an outcome of the Western Cape's government's infrastructure-led growth strategy. This specific project aims to mitigate the impacts of climate change. Meyer said the project would directly impact approximately 150 farming households and some 4,000 hectares of mainly wine grapes under irrigation. Farmers and landowners will actively implement alien infestation clearing projects to restore the Holsloot River along the interface between the land and the river. The Weir provides an agricultural and environmental solution to the ecological damage caused by several severe floods over the years, alien invasive plants, and maintenance performed in the river as a result of pumps being washed away by floods. On that note, let's quickly look at your temperatures for another time. Well, right now. In Polokwane, a partly cloudy day ahead with a low of 5, a high of 17. If you're in Mbombela, 9 is your low, 24 your high. Pretoria, 7, 16. Johannesburg, 6 with a high of 14. Partly cloudy conditions in Mahikeng, reaching a high of 18. Klerksdorp, 3, reaching a high of 18. Kimberley, 8, 17. Bloemfontein, a cool start of only 2 with a high of 17. Sunny conditions for Richards Bay, 13 is your low, 24 your high. Pietermaritzburg, 6, reaching a high of 23. Sunny in Durban, 14 with a high of 23. Mthatha, 4 with a high of 23. Sunny in East London, 13 with a high of 26. Cradock, 3, reaching a high of 21. Gqeberha, 12 with a high of 26. George, 12, reaching a high of 25. Cape Town, partly cloudy with a high of 21. Worcester also reaching a high of 21. Sutherland, 5, reaching a high of 14. And Uppington, a low of 11 with a high of 17. And some rain can be expected for today. If you have a beautiful sunrise photo that you'd love to share with us, please do so on the Expresso Facebook page.
And while you are there, do connect with us on our social media platforms. I almost feel as if today's show was curated for you.
Yep.
Nature Boy certified. It is World Ocean Day. I wanted to find out.
It's my day
It
today.
is your day. So take it. Take the day.
So obviously we ask you guys some of your fondest and most memorable memories when it comes to being on the ocean and being out at the beach. And you guys have come through with so many comments. And I think the memories are just on the stack. And starting off with Hannes Bosman, he says, my fiancée Liesel Nordia, or Nord, we enjoy the fresh sea breeze and what the ocean holds. Blessed to live in Gordons Bay Beach Road. We call it vitamin C. That beach road is insane as well.
I thought this is a proposal now. But obviously.
It looks like it, eh? Yeah, what a
stunning.
moment.
Look
Wow.
at that aesthetic. And then Zania Trump says,
Amanzimtoti in Durban. Oh,
in
yeah.
December when I was a child. I will never forget them. I think many of our memories or our childhood memories goes back to the ocean. We also have Shahista Musa saying, seeing the ocean for the very first time at the age of 18 and then getting pinched by a crab in the ocean and running, screaming out like a shark was chasing me.
I love that, and I've seen so many people like Shahista, their first time on the beach, it literally brings people to tears. Just that sense of freedom, the vastness, that blue beauty, it's so captivating. I see Josephine Pixton says she loves the sunset. I mean, who doesn't love the sunset? Such a picture moment as well. And then Orenele Chelena the third says, I was at Cape Town when I was taught to surf. Best day ever.
Oh, wow.
Yes, man.
Last one, also Dina. Toomey says, the first time my feet touched the beach sand.
Oh, sandy toes, no care in the world. What could be better?
Yeah, life is good at the beach.
Life is good at the beach, guys. Keep coming through with those comments. Of course, we love chatting to you about all of the good stuff, all your good memories. We want to know about it. Even share a picture if you have one too. We want to see what makes you tickle, what makes me shine, and what makes you smile.
Nature Boy certified.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on S3. And as we continue to celebrate World Ocean Day, we are also taking a look at the ocean this morning because it covers more than 70% of the Earth's surface and about 97% of the Earth's water can be found in our oceans. It is also our life source, supporting humanity's sustenance and that of every other organism on Earth.
Yeah, now on World Ocean Day, which is a beautiful day, which should be every day, people everywhere can celebrate and take action for our shared ocean, which connects us all. Now, the ocean, life and livelihoods, is the theme for World Oceans Day in 2021. That's this year. Now, with so much of our existence reliant on the world's oceans, we are joined by Michael Brown to chat more about World Oceans Day and the importance of it. Michael, how are you doing this morning, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks very much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us, man.
And you know what? We think of the oceans and we don't actually realize the important role it plays in life. I mean, 50% of our oxygen, and correct me if I'm wrong, is generated through the ocean. But apart from that role, and of course our fish living there, what else can we say to just really put emphasis on it makes our oceans so important?
So the oceans are, I mean, because they cover so much of the Earth, they are incredibly central to how the Earth operates. They control weather patterns, they provide food, obviously, provide oxygen, and then on another level, they're providing livelihoods to people directly through jobs. A vast amount of our products are transported over the oceans. We can now provide, they're looking at ways of providing electricity through oceans. Directly, they cool power plants. They're incredibly intrinsic to everything we do.
And I feel like it's something that you could sit down here and just chat about forever because, I mean, the amount of uses and the amount of benefits we get from the ocean, I mean, it's endless, really. We're talking about the memories, we're talking about some of the tech, but what is it that comes what is it that comes to mind, especially when you're talking about what's affecting the ocean, and what is potentially jeopardizing it, and what's preventing all this beautiful stuff you're mentioning from actually taking place?
I think we're quite familiar with a lot of what affects it. It's the same that's affecting us on a day-to-day basis. We've got global warming, we've got increased amounts of carbon, we've got direct pollution through plastics. Plastic is a huge problem in the oceans. Overfishing, just stripping out. We've got damage to coral reefs. All of these things are directly affecting the oceans and affecting the people that rely on it, which in actual fact is all of us.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think that, I mean, if you mention that even in your first question, you're talking about the fact that they're like the lungs of the Earth, and we are like almost intentionally damaging that and compromising that constantly. I mean, wake up, Mzansi, what are you doing?
Not just Mzansi, it's everyone. And I wanted to know from you, Michael, I think, you know, a lot of us, especially when you were talking about the coral reefs, I mean, they are slowly dying. And in fact, I shouldn't say slowly, they are rapidly dying. And it's quite scary the impact the human footprint has had on our oceans. How can we as individuals work with nature and not against it and exploit it the way we have?
So we have lots of options, and the easiest one is to start living sustainably. So if you're going to buy fish and eat fish, make sure that they're green list fish. Refuse plastics, put pressure on lawmakers. One of the big goals for this year's World Ocean Day is to push for the 30 by 30, so 30% of the world's oceans to be conserved by 2030. And that sort of thing only happens if we, as people, push for it. On another level, it's to share the ocean with other people. The more people that love it, the more people will protect it. And to give someone a sense of ownership and heritage with the ocean means that they'll want to protect it and they'll treat it better.
Yeah. Now, I know we're talking about some pertinent issues, but I want to make it a little bit more lighthearted because I know something that's close to you is obviously also the ocean, being a marine biologist. Yeah. What's your fondest memory when it comes to the ocean? I mean, one of the biggest ones for you, what really just stands out for you, man?
I've been really fortunate. I've grown up around the ocean my whole life. I surf and I sail. But I think, you know, from a really young age, it was a great place for me to spend time with my family. My dad spent a long time teaching me about the ocean from a really young age, and I think some of our fondest memories of that and learning to surf.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big one indeed. And I asked this question only because everyone has such a strong and powerful memory of the ocean. It's impacted everybody in such a dramatic way. And just hearing your story, I think sharing everything with Mzansi kind of just makes things more relatable, make people understand it's not just an ocean, it's our livelihoods, it's the lungs of the world. So thank you for sharing that, man. I just had to ask this because I think it's not just a phase. It's really personal and it's really something we need to start targeting. So thank you for your time, for sharing on this beautiful thing, this blue soul that we live on. And yeah, I wish that all the work that you're putting into this just provides just positivity and more for us to enjoy.
Thanks very much, yeah. I think it's a great thing.
Well, thank you, Michael, for joining us this morning as we continue to celebrate World Oceans Day. And if you have a fond memory of World Oceans Day, or in fact, let me put it this way, if you have a fond memory of being at the ocean, why don't you head on over to our Expresso social media pages? Let us know, and don't forget that hashtag Expresso Show.
Thank you so much, guys. Really interesting conversation. So let's continue on that trend right now. World Oceans Day obviously affords us the opportunity to re-examine the way we treat our oceans, from food production to, yes, pollution and preservation, as we've just discussed. It is our collective responsibility to look after the ocean, as it is vital to our existence as humans. We are inseparable. The ocean creates roughly half of our oxygen, and thanks to the underwater kelp forests, of course, we've got a beautiful example of that, one of the new natural wonders of the modern world, in fact, on the South African coastline. So to make sure that we are doing our part, we've got an absolute pearl of a dish for you, our avocado and cucumber hand roll. This is cool. You get some recipes that are delicious, some that are healthy, some that are just cool.
You were saying this is your vibe.
This really is my flavor profile. I love a hand roll, and I love the fact that, and I love avo, and I love cucumber.
Yeah.
There's just something about the experience of eating something like this, and it is jam-packed with great nutrients.
Exactly.
It's fresh and it's interesting, and I'm hoping it's not going to be impossible to make, because I'm going to hopefully try.
Yes, we both going
to, and I'm going to give it a go.
We're going to give it a try.
And of course, Teresa is here to do it for us the most. Okay,
all
so
right.
where do we start?
So I'm going to just prepare our rice quickly. We've got some sushi rice here, and I'm going to add in a little bit of rice wine vinegar. And use rice wine vinegar because it's got that slightly lighter flavour. It's not too overpowering.
All the other flavours. Sure.
Yeah, so just mix it in there.
And you call this short grain sticky rice, hey?
Yes, yeah,
Which
sushi
is
rice.
essential. You've got to use the sticky rice.
You need something that's going to clump together. As an alternative, you could also use quinoa, which is quite interesting because that's obviously also very nutritious.
Yeah, it's got a great protein, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So do you want to grab one of these? We're going to give this a go.
This is nori.
Nori, yes. So seaweed
nori.
sheets.
Do I have one or two? Just one.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with a little bit of our rice.
So no, you shouldn't play with our food, but
it's fun, it's fun.
Okay.
So you're just going to pop it onto one side of the nori. So the one side's going to stay clear.
Okay.
And you're going to spread it into a layer about 1 centimeter thick.
Okay.
And it's so tempting just to fill it with all the things, and you have to try not to do that because it's going to make it difficult to roll.
Okay, so reserve yourself.
So just try and hang back a little bit.
Temper yourself.
Okay, so we've got a nice neat layer there. Perfect.
I don't want to overdo it.
No, it looks good.
Perfect.
Right, our avo is going to go on next. So we've got our beautiful avo slices. And just try and keep it within the borders of the rice if you can. Sure. So pop some on there. So delicious. This is such a fantastic snack as well. If you need something in the afternoon just to keep you going, you can just quickly make one of these, and it's really filling.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
so
almost deceiving in how filling it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's
absolutely
enough. Great.
Awesome. Okay, I've just popped some sugar snap peas on mine. So these have been thinly sliced.
That's great for a bit of
cucumber.
crunch.
Yes. I love the textures, the contrasting textures. And we love all the green as well. Oh,
and of course at home, I mean, all of our ingredients have been beautifully prepared here at Julienne. And you don't have to go quite as cosmetic with yours at home. You can go a bit more rough and ready if you need.
I love cooking in this kitchen. It's so easy.
Who's doing your meal prep at home? I mean, come on.
So a bit of mayo going on there. We're going to throw in a few sesame
you've got to get to an Asian supermarket or deli to get your hands on this mayo. Yes, you can use any mayo, but this mayo is the bomb.
Right, moment of truth. So now we're going for a cone shape.
Okay.
Okay, because we want something that's going to fit nicely in your hand. Sure. So I'm going to start by rolling this corner up.
Okay.
I'm going to bring this one around. And you're just basically going to wrap it around. Ooh. And then just use a little bit of water to secure the sheets together.
Okay.
In fact, let me just do it this way. How's it going there?
Yes. Yeah. It's going.
This is where the overfilling comes into play. If
I
you've
see what you mean, yeah.
done too much. You want a nice shape you can fit in your hand. And then you can finish it off with a squeeze of lime, a bit of coriander, a bit more mayo. That's what I would do probably.
Spot of
And then you've got a nice little snack all ready to go.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Yay.
Little cone of
I can make
goodness.
mine a little bit tight, I think. But for a first effort, that was good. It is actually really simple, beautiful. I love the fact that it's popping, it's green. Hey, it smells fresh.
Divine.
It's beautiful.
I might have to have this for breakfast.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm not putting this down. In fact, the only place this is going is in my mouth. You can find this recipe on expressoshow.com, and I would suggest try it. If you want to push the boat out a little bit with different ingredients, I'm going to sprinkle some.
Yes, finish it off with some sesame seeds.
Yeah.
You can definitely use different vegetables. Carrots also quite nice.
I like this from the contrast in textures here. You've got the crunch, you've got something that's really fresh, vibrance of the cucumber, and then you've got the creaminess of the avocado.
Yeah.
I think those balance, and this is going to be a wonderful way to create something that ultimately is missing the fish, but you won't notice.
You won't notice.
It's missing the fish.
It's the perfect snack, really.
It really is. This is awesome. One of the healthiest things you've made in this kitchen. For me. I joke, but go to expressoshow.com to try this for yourself. I'm going to have a big bite right now.
Yum. You can hear the crunch.
Definitely need the sesame seeds.
Yummy.
Beautiful.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on S3, and we continue our conversation around World Oceans Day as we celebrate this day, which is absolutely necessary. And we're also very excited to have Talita Noble, who is the conservation manager from the Two Oceans Aquarium Education Foundation, that joins us to chat about their initiative as well as the importance of rescuing and rehabilitating as many sea turtles as possible. Good morning and welcome. welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
This is very fascinating because we are talking about the rehabilitation of turtles. You mentioned in the ad break that you haven't seen one in its natural habitat. So we are quite fascinated with why there is a rehabilitation center in the first place. What is the need for it? And what role does the Two Oceans Aquarium play in helping these turtles?
Yeah, that's a good question. When you think of our sort of beaches, you don't think of tropical turtles coming up. But we actually have like incredible nesting populations of loggerhead and leatherback turtles on our northeastern coastline, northern KwaZulu-Natal. And every year these females go and lay their eggs there, and then come January, February, these little eggs hatch, the little turtles make their way to the ocean, and then they drift in this warm Agulhas current that comes all the way down our coast. And when these little turtles drift in the current, and as the current reaches our south coast, they get spat out, and at that point they've often sustained lots of injuries. They are like little sweet treats for everything in the ocean. Everything tries to eat them. But they also have gone into hypothermic, like cold shock, from that distinct change in temperature, and they're dehydrated, and that leads them to wash up on the beaches of the Western Cape. And so we find that we have a stranding season for hatchling turtles. That's between about March and the end of July every year, where we can get anything from 20 to 220 hatchling turtles that strand on our coastline.
Sure.
That's insane. That's a huge amount. And like I was saying earlier in the break, it's so interesting to me because, I mean, I've been exploring and playing in the ocean since a kid. I've never come across a turtle in the wild at all. You're mentioning that they come from KZN. My fascination is when they're washing up and stuff, how come it's not a more maybe common experience? And when they are washing up and are essentially in this state, what are you doing with them exactly afterwards? I know you are rehabilitating them, but how do you rehabilitate a turtle?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, firstly, the little turtles, when they strand, are often tiny. It can be really difficult to see them. They can be in the kelp, in the rocks. So they're not always this large turtle on the sandy
When you mean
beach.
tiny, like what sort of reference are we talking about?
They can fit into the size of your, like a little palm of your hand. So
maybe that's why
20 grams. Yeah. We do also get larger turtles that strand, but mainly the stranding season is for hatchling turtles. And so I think it requires like an awareness and looking out for it, which is why we do have these sort of campaigns to become a turtle rescuer, to keep an eye out on the beaches, to sort of help us rescue these turtles. And yes, looking after them is tricky. It's incredibly rewarding, but it's difficult because they come in and they firstly can't tell you what they've been through.
No.
They have the shell that protects everything inside, but it also makes it difficult to know what's going on inside. And so we generally do very basic things. So there's lots of rehydration, food, warming up, medical treatments. We work with a lot of vets collaboratively, and yeah, there's a lot of sort of work and effort that goes into them. And then you observe them and their behavior and how they improve and start gaining weight, and you keep track of them. And that's generally how we go in the process of rehabilitation.
Quick question, I've got to interrupt you. I just want to know, hypothetically, is it not possible, because animals are smart, now, you can laugh at me, this is a silly question, but is it not possible for these turtles to start realizing that, hey, it's quite lekker down at the Oceans Aquarium, they look after us, they rehabilitate, it's lekker over there, maybe we should just all flock down to the Western Cape. Is that something that could occur, maybe?
I think that is something that they think about, is they start getting fussy and then they don't want this food and then they realize it's a hotel and yes, no.
I wanted to know what happens once you've rehabilitated them. How long do they stay at the rehab center, and when do you release them back into the wild?
Yeah. So in Cape Town, we're limited to releasing them when the ocean is right around us, which means that we can release them sort of in a window that's between about November and March. We generally release at the end of the year after about 6 to 9 months of rehabilitation. And at that point, the turtles are usually a lot more robust. They're about sort of 500 grams, they're a little bit feistier, they're biting, and the vet has to clear them, so they have to be sort of healthy and in top form. But then when the southeaster brings the warm current slightly closer to shore, we're able to go down into that current and release them there.
Do you know where they go from there?
Who knows? The first 10 years of a turtle are called the lost years because we literally don't actually know. And this is why we need to learn more. We need research, we need to understand so that we can better conserve them.
What a life these little buggers have. They just like sit out into the big blue, go have a party, go just get lost, and then we'll find you again later.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I'm just thinking of the movie Finding Nemo, where the little turtles end up in Australia and they're just like happy in the current, which is absolutely amazing. Well, Talita's not going anywhere, so stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show as we unpack and explore more about the rehabilitation of turtles and, of course, the importance of it and the role you can play as we celebrate World Oceans Day today.
And we're also celebrating phenomenal talent on the show this morning. It's quite an emotional show today, admittedly.
Just a very emotional.
I'm feeling quite emotional. I'm thinking about the turtles that almost floored me, but we were also treated to the most amazing first performance, and we're going to get another.
Yes, with the Love Lost, here's Langa Mavuso.
This next song is called Love Lost, and it just speaks about a love that once was, and I hope you enjoy.
I've been wrestling the stars. The sunless skies are way too fast. Exploding bars of gas. My heart still sings your jazz, yeah. Blue rose right, that's all you say. See you there, love, but I still remember when we first met. It was September, never knew it like this. Do you still remember when we first met? Screens fade to gray. You still hide away in your buried grave. The strums of love play in my head. Your dreams live in mine. I feel it in my heart. The songs you made in yesterday. Wish I could see you there, love. Oh, I remember love, yeah. I remember love, remember love. Oh, I remember love, remember love.
emotional.
I know, yeah. And if I was feeling emotional before, now I'm an absolute wreck. And the next time you see me, I'm just going to be crying in the fetal position in the corner of the room. A crazy, crazy talented young man. Seems like an absolute gem as well. More performances on the way. And we're going to continue our discussion around World Ocean Day.
Yay. Stick around for it. We'll see you after this.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. We're still chilling here and chatting to a special soul. It's Talitha Noble, and she's a conservation manager from the Two Oceans Aquarium. And we're chatting about turtles, saving the turtles, everything involving the ocean, and we're learning more about this beautiful species. And earlier we were chatting to you about a bit more about what you guys are about, what you're doing at the organization. And one question we didn't get to touch on is the actual turtles themselves. What species, what type of turtles are you seeing? You did mention babies, but are you only dealing with the young ones, or do you get some OGs pulling up there as well, looking for a good time?
Yeah, so hatchling-wise, we get loggerhead and leatherback hatchlings, because those are the two.
Loggerhead.
Loggerhead.
Okay, is the
They literally have a square little head.
Okay.
Yeah, they're little dinosaurs. And leatherbacks, which literally have a leathery skin. Those are the two species that nest on our coastline. But the green turtle, the hawksbill, occasionally even the olive ridley, use our coastline to forage, to travel, and then they can also get into trouble and strand on our coastline. So we've seen 5 of the 7 species of sea turtle we've seen in our facility.
Okay, and are they mostly young kids? What do you call a young turtle, by the way?
Sub-adult.
A sub-adult
Yes,
turtle.
a sub-adult.
Okay. And are they mostly sub-adults, or do you get some of the older ones coming through as well?
Both. We do get quite a lot of sub-adults, turtles that we estimate to be between 3 and 8 years in age. But we have occasionally received turtles that are 100 kilograms that must be in the 20s or 30s. So a little bit of both. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge.
You know, I'm so fascinated because you mentioned loggerheads, and we've had in our news, I remember reporting on the story a couple of times, Yoshi, who was obviously at the Two Oceans Aquarium for a period of 21 years. What was that journey like? Because you mentioned you used to volunteer even from high school at the aquarium, and then when you started working there, that was also the time period that she was released into the wild. Yeah. What was that experience like?
It was pretty spectacular because Yashi very much became this sort of personality and presence in Cape Town, where she was like this queen of the aquarium, and you could go and visit her, and she'd been there for so long. And because she'd been there for so long, initially it wasn't certain whether one would be able to release her, because would she be able to fend for herself and do what she needs to do? And that's what took us on the journey of really researching and looking into that and getting her ready for release, getting her fit and healthy. She needed to lose some weight. And then eventually satellite tagging and releasing her at the end of 2017. And what followed after that was an incredible 3 years of just breaking all the records and the boundaries and the barriers, and watching her mission up to Angola, mission all the way down again. A year after release, she was exactly where we'd released her, off Cape Point. And then she decided...
trail of one of the routes that they took, which is just up on the screen now.
Yeah,
that is immense. That's like half a way across the globe, all the way to, looks like Australia.
Yeah. Over 40,000 kilometers and 3 years. It's the longest marine migration that's been satellite tracked. Wow. And it's been incredible. It's such a sort of an astounding thing to learn that these turtles are actually just these wild, crazy, cool animals that can do anything.
They really are.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're like my spirit animal in the ocean. Like, they feel like they're just floating and flying in the deep blue with all this like inherent knowledge within them.
Probably true.
Which, yeah. So, I mean, talking more about these species and talking more about populations and maybe more about the narrative of being endangered, how are the numbers looking when it comes to turtles globally, within South Africa as well? And is there a way we could potentially assist in changing that narrative so that we don't get into a situation where these mystical, beautiful creatures are just another story we're telling to our kids?
Yeah. That's an important question, because the thing with turtles is that there's so much about them we still don't know. And so the idea that we might not have them in the wild, we don't actually know, we can't comprehend what impact that would have, because we still don't understand the full value that they bring to the ocean ecosystem. Yeah, I mean, in South Africa, our populations are actually looked after quite nicely on the coastline where they nest, but globally, turtles are critically endangered. They have had sort of human impact after human impact thrown at them, from ghost gear to plastic ingestion to being fished and sort of poached from all sides. And unfortunately, this has left turtles, who are these incredibly strong, capable, resilient animals, on the back foot and just really needing our help. Even with the small little turtles that we get, one of the biggest issues is that they've ingested microplastic. And they've been alive for 2 or 3 months, and we had a turtle last week who died, and he had 121 pieces of plastic inside of him.
Oh no!
And that is
121 pieces of plastic. That is just ridiculous.
Absolutely, horrific. And these animals are indicators of ocean health. They are telling us what the state of the sea is, and we need to listen, because they're telling us that the oceans, the beautiful oceans that we celebrate and love and want to spend time in, need us to look after it.
We do need to look after it. And I know, Talita, at the Two Oceans Aquarium, you guys do incredible work. It's not just the aquarium for us to go and visit and look at the animals. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. How can our viewers support you guys and make sure that you continue to do the good work in the oceans?
Yes, you can visit us at the Aquarium Foundation, a website. So the Aquarium Foundation is the not-for-profit that the Two Oceans Aquarium has. And we do incredible work with conservation, but also with education. There is insane stuff. So if you check out our website, there's online courses, there's incredible things you can do, and we're also really developing the research side as well. So there's lots of exciting things to get involved with.
Oh, that's the aquariumfoundation.org.za. And again, Talitha Noble, Conservation Manager at Two Ocean Aquarium, thank you so much for joining us this morning, sharing some valuable knowledge on the ocean, of course. And I think it's just an important message that we can all take with us. And for you, Mzansi, something a little bit more familiar, but also keeping it ocean friendly. We've got a taco that might just serve that belly all the wonders you need. Check it out.
Yes, Mr. Demone, that is true. We all do love a seafood meal, but the truth is that our oceans are constantly under threat from overfishing and pollution. Now, in light of World Oceans Day, we've been inspired to bring you a recipe that is kinder to the sea, but doesn't skimp on flavor or fun. Our fish-free tacos with smoky chili mayo. They are crunchy, they are spicy, and most importantly, fish-free. Join us as Teresa shows us exactly how to make them from our kitchen to yours, Teresa. So good to have you with us.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Believe it or not, for the first 14 years of my life, maybe 15, 16 years of my life, I used to be allergic to all shellfish. I couldn't eat cheese, I couldn't eat fish, nothing. So for the longest time, this was my lifestyle. This is how I had to create fish-free tacos.
Yes.
And so now you're going to show us how it's done.
It's possible, and it's delicious and fun. Like you said, this is a great one for the family and for the kids to get involved with. And we are using tofu today.
Oh, wow. So that's going to be the fish substitute,
the kind of
alternative.
Exactly. So a little tip here with your tofu, it's a good idea to press your tofu before you start. So what I mean is put it on a tray with a cloth or some kitchen towel, press it down with something flat for about 20 minutes, and it's just going to let that excess moisture drain out, and you're going to get a firmer tofu that keeps its shape better.
Got it.
So that's a little tip.
A chef tip coming through for all of us.
I'm going to make some batter now, and I'm going to ask you to do our mayo.
Certainly.
Okay, so what I've got here is some flour. I'm adding some garlic powder, and then I'm going to add some non-alcoholic beer. just to bring it all together.
Can you use an alcoholic beer? But you wouldn't maybe get to the end of the recipe. You'll just be downing it and be like, yeah, we're done.
You can also use soda water as an alternative. You just want those bubbles in there for that nice crispy batter. So that's what we're going for.
Okay.
And I'm going to whisk this together. And what you're looking for is a kind of a thick pancake batter consistency.
And then I'm just going to start with our spicy
yes.
chili mayo. So
we've got some mayo, we've got some finely chopped chili, and some smoked paprika that's going in there.
Not to mess this up.
Really delicious.
Yum, yum, yum.
Okay, this is looking good. Okay, so I'm just whisking this until all the lumps are gone. And then what I'm going to do is take my tofu. So we've cut it into slices, you can see. And I'm just going to
sliced, by the way.
coat it into kitchen fairies at work again. So I'm going to coat this in the batter. And then I'm going to drop it into our hot oil. And obviously just be careful when you're working with oil because it's going to splash. Oop, that's very thick.
Don't break it.
Okay.
It also feels like it's trying to find where the tofu is because it just looks like batter. So you're going to be like looking for the tofu.
Where's
we found one
gone?
and we're dropping it into the pan. So obviously I did the mayo, I did the paprika and some chili, and I'm just mixing this together, right?
Give it a good mix.
Okay. Got that set for you, so when you are done with that. And so you obviously want the oil to be super hot before you pop it in so it can...
Yeah, you can test it with a little bit of batter first to see how hot it is. And you're just cooking the tofu until it's nice and golden and crispy on the outside.
And dare I say this, it actually looks like calamari. So this right here. When I came, I was like, it's supposed to be a fish-free taco. Why are we using... No.
I love it.
The batter.
The batter's going to give you that lovely crunch, that crispiness. So I'm just going to pop these in here.
And it is Tuesday. There's a thing called Taco Tuesdays.
Tuesday, yes.
Bring it on.
Okay, so I'm going to let those fry. And of course, we've got our ready-made ones all done here.
Good. And then this is the fun part because you get to build your own taco.
So you can use crispy tacos, soft shell tacos, tortillas, whatever you fancy. I'm going to start with a bit of mayo. So I'm going to layer some on.
I'll pass it on to you. Don't worry, my hands are fully sanitized.
Yes. I washed mine as well. So pop that in the middle. I mean, you can really do this any way you like. And then we've got a bit of shredded cabbage. So pop some on there.
Yeah.
I love the idea of putting everything on the table and letting everybody make their own, doing it their own way.
Because then if the kids did want to, not use a spicy mayo, they could just have it plain. So then you'll have the texture from the avo to get that creaminess.
Exactly. Okay, so the tofu's gone on, the avo's gone on.
Oh,
you know what? I'm going to do a bit more mayo.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. I slaved away the entire morning making this mayo, so please use all of it.
Delicious. And then you can just finish it off with a squeeze of lemon or lime, a bit of coriander.
It's absolutely stunning.
Absolutely gorgeous. And then you can just wrap it up.
And dinner is served, Teresa. Yes. Fish-free tacos with a spicy chili mayo. ExpressoShow.com is where you can find the recipe and get your hands on all the ingredients. But there we go. Dinner is served for the Tuesday.
Easy.
A healthier you starts with you and your plate. Join us on a nourishing journey by entering to be on SABC2's new show, Color Your Plate with Koo. To be part of the show, buy any 3 Koo products and send Koo5 a day to 072-741-5357 on WhatsApp. Follow the steps to load a picture of your colorful meal served and stand to win prizes valued at 500,000 rands with Koo. Koo, uzotwala.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're just in time for Zoe's Glasses Appreciation Day.
Yes!
We've had to clean the glasses about 50 times. No, we love the glasses. But no, it's time to have a little bit of fun and pose a very difficult conundrum. In life, there are some very powerful forces that are completely beyond our control, that can make us do things we never thought we were capable of. Do you know what one of the strongest forces in nature is? Undoubtedly, hunger. I'm no longer. I'm not hangry anymore because I had my hand roll. We're about to see just how powerful hunger can be in another round of dun dun dun. Would you rather? Ooh. So I'm going to pose a scenario. I'd love to get your guys' opinions. Obviously, our viewers have been weighing in. Really interesting comments coming through. But here's the deal, guys. Okay, so the scenario is this. You've bought your friend a box of rusks and a flower as a get-well gift. Okay? They've been feeling the most. They're sick and you're going to come through and save the day. But your date gets postponed until later, and now you're at home and you're starving. Looking at that box of rusks. Would you rather, A, have a rusk and just give them the flowers? Perfectly permissible. B, fight the temptation and eat something else like a fish-free taco.
Okay, I'll be that person and I'll choose A. I mean, like, I love rusks. I love my rusks. So what I would do is I would open the box and actually get a different packet and what's left over, like, re-gifted with a little bow. So that they don't know I tucked into the box.
I'm just thinking of all the times you've just given me flowers. Now I'm hurt.
And what's been missing with a gift?
You don't know. That's something you'll never know.
I like that idea. I think I would definitely do the same thing. Just the fact that I'm probably sure that I'm not the reason for it being postponed. So it serves you right for making
Serves you right. You're going to get more sick.
And I probably wouldn't even hide the fact that I ate the rusks because they must know you wasted my time. I needed to buy time, and how can I resist kryptonite? I mean,
yeah, exactly. But yeah, have your flowers. Yeah.
Take the flowers.
Amy, come on, save the day, man.
No, I'm the same as Zoe. I would actually send a picture of myself eating the rusk and the rose. Be like, hey, you missed out on this.
Gee, the guys here are savages in the studio.
What do you do? But also, if it's your bestie, you can be like, you know what? I'm tucking in. I'll bring the leftovers for us to enjoy together. So then they still get something. So it's not rude to rock up there with an open box of rusks.
I also know that if you
tied in a handkerchief with a flower put in there.
And a beautiful bow.
A gorgeous little gift.
What would you do?
I like that.
Because I feel like you're judging all of us.
It wouldn't even be a question. You wouldn't even see a box. It wouldn't be just crumbs everywhere.
Yeah, man, I just lie completely. And no one would ever know about the rusks. There would just be flowers are beautiful on their own. Flowers are a lovely gift. No, it's tough. Well, let's hope that our viewers can redeem us, our humanity. Let's see what they had to say.
I see Jane Ann Wilson has come through and she says, it depends if there's anything else in the house to eat. If not, I may just eat the rusks and give the flowers. So I think we can feel you all there.
Zoraida says, I could never, ever resist the rusk. And of course, they would be Oma rusks. So who could blame me? I'll eat them and then replace them the next day and give them along with the flowers. Smart. So
I love this one that came through from Tatum that says, definitely A, have a rusk and keep the flowers as well. Hashtag, you snooze, you lose.
This poor friend is sick, guys. They're not just messing you around, you know?
The date.
It seems like if you have a friend and you postpone on your friend, then you're going to get a birthday card, and that's as good as
That's it. You're lucky. If you get a card, you're lucky in this case, man. Oh, I love it, man.
Let's look forward to the comments.
Got Michael van Wyk says, have a rusk. There's still plenty left in the box. Okay, I think he's going with your strat, Zoe. You'll just quickly close it again like no one even noticed.
Lokutula says, have a rusk and just give them the flowers after they were not available for the date, and who can fight the temptation of a hot beverage while dipping on a rusk. Sorry, friend. We'll replace them on the next date. Everyone is feeling our vibe.
Ilam says A. And of course, we actually have someone that says B, Seleka, saying B. There we go. We have some
out there in the world.
She doesn't need to justify it. She's like, B.
B.
I think she's maybe just allergic to rusks. That's got to be it.
They have a well-stocked house that they can leave the rusks alone. That's not the case in my home.
Oh, man.
I think we've got one last one coming in from Leanne saying, A, I'm sorry, my friend, but I'm here for the rusks.
Yes, now that you've completely eroded my sense of humanity, do you guys, I'm not going to say, do you want a rusk? Please help yourselves, guys. And we will give you some flowers after the fact. Maybe you have eaten that gift that you were supposed to buy for someone else, and then you have a chance to redeem yourself because we are giving you the chance to win Omar Rusks, a beautiful hamper with 1,000 Rand in cash. That's enough rusks for you and that sick person in your life. To win, you've got to tell us where in the world you would most love to dip a Omar and why. You can enter on the competition post on the Expresso Facebook or our Twitter page using that hashtag, as always, dipping time. And you have until Wednesday, that's tomorrow, to enter. So please get on it and get on it ASAP. But as always, you can find the terms and conditions on expressoshow.com. And if you win, please remember to share. It's the right thing to do.
I'm going in there.
If you have any left,
Share.
please share.
I love how the crumbs are falling out.
I'll be expecting my flowers tomorrow.
Any time is dipping time when it's with the ones you love.
Well, it is the final hour of the show. Time to get into those news headlines one last time. We start with your national news. Now, more than 93,500 TVET college students and almost 53,000 university students did not receive National Student Financial Aid Scheme, NSFAS, funding for the 2021 academic year. Now, this as almost 100,000 NSFAS-funded students failed the 2020 academic year, the majority of whom were enrolled at TVET colleges. Now, some 22,000 students at universities were unfunded because they had already obtained their first undergraduate qualification. Higher Education Minister Blade Nzimande earlier said the scheme funding has increased from 5.9 billion in 2014 to 43 billion rand. South Africans without medical aid will not be allowed to walk into a private COVID-19 vaccine site without an appointment. Instead, the uninsured must be referred to a public healthcare facility. The Department of Health has said that it would not pay for uninsured walk-ins to private sites. The exception is that private sector sites are authorized to vaccinate uninsured walk-ins aged 80 years and older, but not more than 5% of the site's vaccine allocation, and to reclaim cost from the state. Moving with news further abroad, the Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo says people can start returning to the eastern city of Goma following last month's volcanic eruption. Jean-Michel Sama Lukonde, who is in Goma with about a dozen other ministers, said there had been a sufficient reduction in seismic activity. About 2/3 of the city's population of 600,000 fled after the eruption of nearby Mount Nyiragongo. Many have already drifted back informally. Lukonde said the military governor would announce a program of phased returns. Staying with your international news as well, some 5,000 police officers, Coast Guard members, as well as 150 police dogs and a large fleet of drones will be deployed to Cornwall as the world's most powerful leaders descend on the quaint English seaside town of Carbis Bay with a population of only 3,500. Now, the extensive security operation will cost 70 million euros, the equivalent of just under 1.5 billion rand. It will be the first major in-person meeting of leaders from Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK and the US since the coronavirus pandemic struck in March 2020. And then next, news of a young woman who wanted to become a mermaid. And now a story befitting the theme of today's show, World Oceans Day. Beth Neal spent her childhood in the landlocked city of Johannesburg, and of all childhood fantasies imaginable, hers was a fervent wish to one day become a mermaid. After finishing school, she turned that childhood fantasy into reality, and today she's a 4-time South Africa free diving champion and is affording youth the opportunities she never had as a child. Now, as a free diving instructor at pristine Sodwana Bay on Natal's north coast, Beth's love for the ocean only deepened. In 2019, she broke the South Africa and African continental record, diving to 50 meters with no fins to raise funds for the educational program Kids on the Reef. Through her organization AquaSouls, she has also taught over 3,000 children the joys of free diving. She also educates youth on the threats to this ecosystem. She says, and I quote, "It's really important for them to have that experience at a young age so that they will grow up to protect the ocean." Beth is indeed developing a future brimming with compassion for the natural world. Happy World Oceans Day to all of you. That is where I leave your 8 a.m. news headlines. Here's G one last time with a look at the sports.
Thanks so much, Jamie. Let's start with tennis world number one. Novak Djokovic survived a fourth-round scare from Italian teenager Lorenzo Musetti at the French Open yesterday. The top seed beating the 19-year-old who played the game of his life. 6-7, 6-7, 6-1, 6-love, 4-love. Sadly, after Musetti had to retire due to injury. So Djokovic will now face another Italian, Matteo Berrettini, in the last 8. Then the king of clay, Rafa Nadal, also advancing to the quarterfinals after securing a straight sets victory, 7-5, 6-3, 6-love win over 18th seed Jannik Sinner. The world number 3 will now face the 10th seeded Diego Schwartzman of Argentina in the quarters. Then in the women's singles draw, teenager Coco Gauff reaching her first ever Grand Slam quarterfinal. That was after beating Tunisian Ons Jabeur at the French Open yesterday. The American beating the 25th seed 6-3, 6-1. Then fellow American and 4th seed Sofia Kenin was knocked out of the competition, going down to Greece's Maria Sakkari 6-1, 6-3 yesterday. Then COVID still playing its part in international rugby. The Super Rugby Trans-Tasman match between the Rebels and the Crusaders has now been moved from Melbourne to Sydney as authorities continue to contain an outbreak of COVID-19 in Victoria in Australia. The Rebels, who sit second from the bottom of the log, will now play their 3rd successive match at the Lashard Oval in Sydney, where they face the 3rd-placed Crusaders on Saturday. And that's a wrap of your sporting news for this Tuesday morning. Let's get one last look at the skies above your neck of the woods.
Thanks, G-Man, and a big thank you to all of you for sharing your sunrise views with us. It really is beautiful to see how you start your day. Now, this morning we took a look at some of the beautiful images we received, like this one from Andrew Harris, who's based in Belito, showing off the sun breaking through the clouds. Ntantanye Kuhosi Hadebe from Ermelo and Mpumalanga also shared this view of the veld at the start of the day. And then at 7 o'clock, we showed you the stunning image of the sky filled with hues of pinks, blues and yellows. This one was shared by Ashan Williams from George. And last but not least, we had a very special viewer share one picture with us en route to the UAE. This one was sent in from Ridwan Hassan, who shared this photo from Windhoek in Namibia while on a layover. Now, we hope you have arrived safely at your final destination, Ridwan, and thank you for sharing that beautiful image. And please don't hesitate to share your sunrise photos from wherever you may be in South Africa or across the world, and you can share that with us on the Expresso Facebook page. And while we enjoy experiencing a sunrise from your neck of the woods, we do have some international viewers who are tuning in on both YouTube and the Africa channel in the US. Now, this morning we report on the weather from Staunton, Virginia. Staunton is known for being the birthplace of Woodrow Wilson, the 28th US president, and as home of Mary Baldwin University, historically a women's college. The city also is home to Stewart Hall, a private co-ed preparatory school, as well as the Virginia School for the Deaf and Blind. Nicknamed the Queen City, it received the name because at one time it was the county seat of the largest county in the world, larger than Germany or France and most principalities of Europe. Today, the city of Staunton can expect humid conditions with times of sun and clouds and a thunderstorm in the afternoon, reaching a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius. And now for some news from back home, from the drought-stricken area of the Eastern Cape. The Coga municipality has requested the Eastern Cape government to have the municipality declared a disaster area due to the prolonged drought. The municipality draws its water from the Coga Dam, which currently has a water level of 4%. The towns of Jeffrey Bay, Patensi and Hankie are facing a day zero scenario. Coga municipality since 2018 drilled 40 boreholes and diverted water from Humansdorp to Hankie to alleviate the effects of the drought, while more than 200 water tanks have also been installed in informal residential areas. These interventions cost 151 million rand. Coga Mayor Horatio Hendricks says the municipality needs some 100 million rand to extend the time frame of dawning of day zero. Now, Hendricks says a drought disaster declaration will unlock some funds to assist the municipality to deal with infrastructure challenges and drill more boreholes. He says the private sector has also been asked to assist. We'll certainly keep you updated with regards to that news. For now, let's take a final look at your temperatures. If you're in Polokwane, a partly cloudy day with a low of 5, a high of 17. Mbombela 9, reaching a high of 24. Pretoria 7, 16. Johannesburg 6 with a high of 14 for today. Mahikeng 7, reaching a high of 18. Klerksdorp 3 with a high of 18. Partly cloudy conditions in Kimberley today, reaching a high of 17. If you're in Bloemfontein, a cool start of 2 with a high of 17 for today. Sunny conditions in Richards Bay, 13 with a high of 24. Pietermaritzburg, 6, 23. Durban, 14, reaching a high of 23. Sunny conditions in Mthatha, a low of 4, a high of 23. East London, 13, 26. Cradock, 3 with a high of 21. Gqeberha, 12, reaching a high of 26. Partly cloudy conditions for George today. 12 is your low, 25 your high. Cape Town 12, reaching a high of 21. Partly cloudy in Worcester with a high of 21. Rain can be expected in Sutherland today, a low of 5, a high of 14. And rainy conditions in Uppington, expect a low of 11 and a high of 17 degrees Celsius. That's where I leave your weather for this morning. If you have a beautiful sunrise photo to share with us, please do so on the Expresso Facebook page.
You're imagining you're a turtle, eh?
I am, man.
Yeah,
Just flying in the big blue.
Absolutely love it, man. We're going to continue to celebrate World Oceans Day, but also take in some amazing music.
Yeah, amazing music indeed. It's Langa Mavuso. He's doing something with the word blue. It's Sunday Blues, and he's coming live Constitution Hill. Let's go check it out with Tubbs.
So when I said to you earlier on that you were in for a treat, that was an offer, not a challenge. It was an invitation, because Langa Mavuso is here on your Feel Good Breakfast show, Expresso, here on S3. We're coming to you from Flame Studios out in Constitution Hill. This is such a magical space for a musician like you, such an inspiring environment, and you come alive in this space. I mean, when we were having a chat earlier on there, just the space just works with the person you are and the type of art that you create. But this next song, Sunday Blues, a classic. When you wrote that and you recorded that, did you know that that would become the hit that it went on to become?
I mean, I had no idea. I wrote this song when I was in varsity, and when it was time to release my first single, I just kind of fetched it from my work that I've done before, and so I hoped that people would love it, and so it did resonate with people, and so I was very grateful for that.
Certainly, without a doubt, this song is the song that got so many of us out there connecting with the talent that is Langa Mavuso, and man, this one makes me really, really happy. It's called Sunday Blues. Enjoy.
Stormy Sunday blues rolling round the room. You seem to hide your smiles with diamond colored hues. And baby, I want to share my love with you. You should be here, no else but here. The rain keeps falling. You should be here, no else but here. The rain keeps falling. Morning rose with gloom and eyes are dark in color blue. A ray of sunshine in the shade. I promise that I'll never leave you. I'll save you from the heavy clouds, 'cause memories, they don't fade. And baby, I want to share my love with you. You should be here,
that is how you deliver a classic. Langa Mavuso and Sunday Blues. Langa, do me so on the keys. What a joy this morning. Thank you so much. The love on social media. I mean, it's overwhelming. You're going to have to spend, the two of you guys, this entire day just going through every single one of the comments that are coming through. Everybody loving it. And you can continue to weigh in on that conversation. Hashtag Expresso Show. And share with us what this experience has meant for you. He is summer nominated. What do people need to do to make sure that you get the award that you deserve?
I mean, tweet the summers.
Tweet the summers. Let the summers know. But thank you so much for spending the morning with us, Langa. It's been fantastic. When is the next album coming out? I'm ready now.
Well, I'm currently working on the next album, but I'm also working on a score for a film. And so I'm focused on that right now. But the album should be out next year.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. And all of Mzansi is waiting. Well, let's head on back to you guys in the studio.
Sure. What a talent, eh?
Oh, man.
What a talent.
All up in the fields.
Man, I think you just fell in love. Even if you don't have that special someone next to you, hopefully you have fallen in love. Well, after the break, we get back into a very important discussion. We are talking about Global Infertility Awareness Month, which is happening right now. Stick around.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're still live with your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is the month of June, and the month of June commemorates World Infertility Awareness Month. Infertility affects millions of couples, and it is not only a condition that affects women, but men are affected too.
That's right, and we all hope, not all hope is lost for those who are dealing with infertility. There are a number of advanced fertility treatments available today. Now, reproductive medicine specialist Dr. Liesel Oosthuizen, she is here to tell us more about World Infertility Awareness Month and, of course, the options that are available for couples that are struggling to fall pregnant. Good morning and welcome to Expresso.
Thanks so much for having me.
Let's start right at the beginning. I think this is
If we are looking, and we have to take age into account, under 35, if you've been trying to conceive for a year, then we would say you should fall into the category of being investigated for infertility. Over the age of 35, as a woman, you should also be coming for assessment when you've been trying to conceive for 6 months, because as you get older, egg quality decreases. We don't want to push it too long. When you're 40 or in your 40s, that's when you should really be making quite a concerted effort to go and see a specialist if you are not falling pregnant, because time is of the essence. When it comes to diagnosing it from a male or female point of view, that's where we have to start doing assessments, and we have to start considering from a male point of view the semen analysis and doing a workup from that side.
I have quite a few friends who are struggling to fall pregnant or have had to go to alternative measures to, to make sure that's the process that happens. How common is infertility within couples?
It is incredibly common. So worldwide, they're saying between about 8 and 12%, but we know it's realistically more like 1 in 6 couples. In certain parts of Africa, it can be 1 in 4 couples, so it is incredibly common. I always say to my patients, look at the busy waiting room. Look, the next time you're in traffic, look at the cars around you. If you can see another 6 cars around you, likely one of those people is being affected by infertility. So it is common, and we should be talking about it, but we don't.
We don't. You spoke about the age, because I think also as women, there's always a biological time clock. People always say you need to get it done, you know, sooner rather than later. But is there a right time to start falling pregnant, or how does age really factor into your infertility?
Well, the right time to be falling pregnant, unfortunately, is in your 20s. So that's when our egg quality and our egg number is really the best. But with today's society, with everything that women have achieved, we're focusing on our careers, on not settling for the partner we don't want to have a family with. And sometimes it might take a little bit longer to start trying to fall pregnant. So age really does come into effect, because we are born as women with every single egg that we are ever going to have, and we are losing them, excuse me, we are losing them from the time we are born. This slowly happens until we hit menopause. However, in our 30s, we start decreasing our egg quality as well as our egg number. And in our late 30s, this starts to rapidly decline. So by the time we are 40, we really are in trouble with both egg number and egg quality.
I love, Liesl, how you were mentioning, you know, for couples under the age of 35 who've been trying for a year and haven't fallen pregnant, and then there's the time period for if you're over 35 and 6 months. What else should couples be looking out for? Are there any telltale signs or symptoms that they might have to address? Hang on, maybe we fall in that infertility bracket and we might need to see someone.
Well, the first thing is, when we're talking about trying to fall pregnant, I often hear patients tell me, we've been trying for a couple of months. But when you ask how long have you been having unprotected intercourse, then that's actually a lot longer. So you need to look at the entire time frame in which you could have fallen pregnant. From the woman's point of view, we always have to look at her medical background, because if you are known to have endometriosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome, if your periods are irregular, if you have severe period pain, or there's anything else in your family history where you think, hold on, a couple of people struggled in my family, or there've been a lot of miscarriages in my family, you might want to get assessed sooner. From the male point of view, things that make me concerned are a history of testosterone or steroid abuse. If a male has problems with erectile dysfunction, for example, and we just need to look at his overall health. So diabetes, other medical conditions, and just general lifestyle can also impact on that.
I find a lot of couples don't discuss this, and when it comes to that time, it actually puts a lot of strain on the relationship, because no one thinks it is a possibility that they can fall within that category. Well, Dr. Liesl Oosthuizen's not going anywhere. She's going to be here as we continue to talk and really commemorate World Infertility Awareness Month, which is this month, the month of June. So if you have any comments or questions, please head on over to our social media pages, and don't forget that hashtag Expresso Show.
Thank you so much, team. We're going to continue that conversation in just a moment, as Zoe said. Right now, though, in partnership with Adcock Ingram OTC, the sponsors of Brave, we bring you, sponsors of Brave, the gratitude season, to shine a light on those pharmacists making a difference in their communities and showing us what it really does mean to be brave.
Yeah, so Kelly Robertson and Cheryl Kate are the co-owners and leaders at the helm of Tyron Pharmacy, which is a saving grace for the community it serves in Randburg. Now, let's go take a look at this.
Good.
Yeah.
So I actually know Kelly from university. We studied together. That's how I actually found out about Tyron Pharmacy when Kelly opened it up. I've had a wonderful experience here. I've been here for the last 13 years.
There's a dynamism which I think even the customers pick up on as well. There's a true integrity around the care that we have for the customers, and that certainly gets picked up upon by the customers.
Very sadly, our son Sam passed away on the 22nd of July 2016, and that was after a year and a half of being in hospital. He never came home, and the journey, sadly, despite us having private medical aid and kind of a good education and support, during that journey I felt unheard. I felt like I didn't have a voice, and kind of just the person in the corner. We just looked at, you know, the support that we'd been given, and we just thought, what about those children that have nothing? And we're very proud to say since 2017 we've been very blessed because of amazing donors like Tyron Pharmacy and other incredible donors to make a difference in thousands of children's lives.
A pharmacist plays a really important role in being probably the most accessible healthcare professional. You know, if you've got a question, if you've got a concern, sometimes it's not only costly to go and ask that question or go and make an appointment with the doctor to unpack concerns and questions. You can actually go down to your pharmacy. You can be helped immediately. You don't have to wait for an appointment, and often the demystifying of the medical profession happens in a pharmacy.
What motivates me to get up and go every day is that I absolutely love what I do. I'm invested, I like supporting. I think it's a challenge that every day you do not know what you're going to be presented. But there are so many people out there that need help, and it is wonderful to know that maybe just a laughter, maybe just a caring word, maybe just a few tablets makes a change for someone's life out there.
Because of what we've been through, I studied palliative medicine because I thought it has to be different. We have to look at the total patient, not just the little person or the adult in front of you. We have to care for them, mind, body, and soul. And that's what Kelly epitomizes. That's what the team at Tyrone Pharmacy epitomizes. They look after the community, mind, body, and soul.
One of the projects that we're very keen and are currently raising funds for is the renovation of 2 counselling rooms at the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital. Counselling is so very important to us as pharmacists. We do obviously an immense amount of patient counselling.
So the impact I feel that we make in the community is the way that we care in the community, the care that's shown to the customers, no matter who you are. And our domestic workers clinic fulfills a great need in the community, that women aren't having to travel to municipal clinics that are far, so we keep the costs as low as possible for them. And I think that does fulfill something special in our community.
My definition of brave would be having the courage to stick to values of integrity and professionalism. Being brave is more than just showing up for work. Being brave is doing what is in a patient's best interests. And sometimes that's not popular.
Not everybody always grasps an outward way of thinking, of touching lives outside of their own circle. And Kelly and Cheryl both have the most generous, unbelievable heart.
Thank you for leading with such integrity. Thank you for the care, not just for the staff, but also for the community, and for being such strong role models for the rest of us. It's easy to do good work when you have good inspirational leaders.
Thank you for everything that they do in the community and for helping people that cannot afford anything, for people that can afford everything. I think that I would just like to say thank you to them for being there for everyone. They're 2 lovely people, and they're very brave.
The legacy that I would want to leave in my life is that each and every one of us, if we try every day to just be good human beings, I think the world will be a better place. Our community will be a better place. Our staff community will be a better place. And then that will ripple out to the community, to the district that we live in, to the country, and to the world.
Wow, hey, that is how you make a difference.
Yeah.
And this is where you go to vote. You can vote for your local pharmacist or pharmacy where you stand a chance of winning one of 8 5,000 Rand cash prizes.
Oh, and that's for 2 lucky final winners from our nominees, and they stand a chance to win 25,000 Rand towards pursuing a passion project of their choice. Now, to nominate, it's quite simple. All you got to do is visit partners.24.com/sponsors-of-brave/nominations. What are you waiting for?
feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to delve into World Infertility Awareness Month, which is commemorated over the month of June. And we have reproductive medicine specialist Dr. Liesel Oosthuizen joining us. Thank you so much. Really interesting, opening to the discussion. I'm glad that I got to actually weigh in because I think there is a stigma attached that this is very much resting on the woman's biology, and regardless of whether it sits with a man or the woman, it's a couple-driven conversation. So we're going to have that conversation and continue it right now.
I want to
Go for it. I know you.
We spoke about age, being a factor in this, but what other things, come in play when we look at infertility?
So we have to look at your general lifestyle. And obviously people know a lot about pregnancy: don't drink, don't smoke, follow a good diet, get some exercise. But we also have to consider that even though we're pushing falling pregnant later as a couple, our lifestyles have changed and the way we live in the world has changed. One of the things we need to remember is you need to keep your weight at a healthy level. You need to be getting some exercise. You need to have a well-balanced diet. You need to not be smoking. And also, just from the male point of view, you need to stay away from all the steroids in the gym so that doesn't actually affect what's going on with sperm. Weight can affect sperm. Smoking can affect sperm. Now that marijuana is legal, that also affects sperm. So we have to make sure that we're keeping a very healthy lifestyle when we are trying to fall pregnant.
Unfortunately, we know this in so many areas of our health. We know that staying generally healthy is the key, and yet we find it very difficult to maintain that. And we often look back in retrospect. We want to now correct things. Let's wipe the slate clean and say we are a couple now that is dealing with infertility. What treatment options are available? Where do we start?
So the starting point should always be coming to see a reproductive medicine specialist. A lot of people want to go to their GP, or you want to go to your gynae, because going to see a fertility specialist has that stigma of, okay, now I'm admitting there's a problem, and that's a really scary and anxiety-provoking thing. So coming to see the right people so you don't delay the right treatment is the first step. So I like to see both patients. If you are in a couple, whether it's heterosexual or homosexual, you should come in and see us, and we like to assess both of you and see what your options are. We always start with a full examination. Female partner, for the male partner, we often do some blood tests. We do a semen analysis to see where the issues are. And based on what we think the diagnosis is, we will then recommend treatment. There's a huge array of treatment that we can offer, from simply helping someone who does not ovulate to ovulate. We can work on certain factors if there's a problem in the sperm count, or we can get around certain issues by different treatment modalities. If there are issues with the tubes, for example, we might want to recommend IVF or surgery, and a lot of the time we might need to operate, either for a diagnosis or to find endometriosis and treat that.
Can I just add a question to this, because I've known many couples and individuals who have dealt with this, and I know that every story is completely unique. Have we moved forward from where we were 5 years ago? If someone went through this process, because I know that attached to it is a huge emotional blow if it doesn't work, if the chosen treatment isn't successful. Have we moved forward? Should someone who tried 10 years ago try again now? Where do we stand now in terms of where the medicine is at the moment?
Well, we have made a lot of advances. What we can't do, and what we will never be able to do where we are currently, is make more eggs when there aren't eggs, and to improve egg quality. So that's something we can't do. We're hoping to work on it. There's a lot of research coming out about stem cell therapy, PRP, that sort of thing, but we're not there yet. So the technology has advanced. We have far better incubators when we're doing IVF. We have more information about doing genetic testing to make IVF cycles more successful. And the actual medication process has become a lot easier with fewer injections, far fewer side effects. Old IVF from years ago has a terrible reputation where people think you're hormonal and moody and you're an absolute psychopath while you're on medication. Sure. And that's really not the case. Most of my patients are really surprised when they come in halfway through their cycle and they say, I'm not really feeling anything other than bloating. So the medication really has advanced, and we've made it a lot safer for our patients, especially in an era of COVID where we've had to adapt everything for COVID-19.
It's really good to hear.
World Infertility Awareness Month is happening now in the month of June. We're still answering all of your questions, so hit us up on our social media, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. Dr. Liesel Oosthuizen is still here to answer all of your questions.
We're putting the spotlight on the ladies, and when it comes to period pain, it is the very normal part of the menstrual cycle, which most women experience at some point in their lives. It's usually felt as a painful muscle cramp in the tummy, which can spread to the back and thighs, along with a whole host of other possible discomforts. I know. Now we welcome back one of our regulars, gynecologist and obstetrician, Dr. Jason Bennett, who will be talking us through some of the symptoms of menstrual pain and how, most importantly, to treat it. Good morning.
Hi, morning.
Jason, I love that we get to unpack this, because I feel like for a lot of us, might seem like common knowledge, but there's actually a lot of people that don't know or understand what causes menstrual pains.
Totally agree with you, Zoe. So menstrual pains are caused by a special chemical inside a woman's uterus called a prostaglandin, and it's released when a woman has her period, and this prostaglandin causes blood vessels and the muscles of the uterus to contract, and these contractions of the uterus are very painful, and it's what you experience as a painful period.
Now, besides the cramps, what are some of the other symptoms that you can experience, during menstrual pain? Like, let's unpack some of those symptoms.
So, yeah, there are a host of other symptoms not associated with painful periods, and it can start with headaches. You can have breakouts, breast tenderness, nausea and vomiting. A lot of women experience constipation and diarrhea and bloating around their periods.
Because I think a lot of us, experience one or two of the symptoms, perhaps a little bit more. How long does that discomfort usually last?
So we say about 48 to 72 hours is an acceptable time to experience some discomfort for your period. Any time longer is a little bit of a problem, and we need to address it.
Now, of course, that pain and that discomfort is never nice. It's never easy. It's very disruptive to your day-to-day goings. Now, how can we relieve some of that pain or some of the symptoms?
So there is definitely treatment and management. As we've chatted about before, it's always important to start with conservative measures. So doing a menstrual diary, so you can start to predict when you're going to be having a painful period or when your periods will be on the way. It's decreasing things like high carbohydrates in your diet, refined sugars, stopping smoking, decreasing alcohol, doing meditation, yoga, good aerobic exercise can really help with period pain. Simple analgesia, especially something like Brufen, can help a period pain dramatically. Then we can move on to other medications. So most of it is hormones. Something like the pill really can help someone with period pain. There are the injectables as well, injectable contraceptives, that we're not just using for contraception, but using them to help us with pain. There are special devices we can also insert into the uterus that release small amounts of hormones every day, and it can really dramatically decrease the amount of period pain that a woman will experience.
So there are lots of options. We do not have to suffer. And
no one must suffer.
No one must suffer. I like that. Now, Dr. Jason Bennett, I have one more question for you. I find that when I am on my period and I have a bowl of cereal, it's like the cramps just intensify. Has anyone else had something similar?
Well, I think everyone is different, and a lot of women have different triggers. It's something to identify and to kind of avoid during your period.
Well, Dr. Jason Bennett, thank you for joining us this morning.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Being in pain at that time of the month, every month, doesn't have to be as bad and uncomfortable. Brufen can help relieve those menstrual cramps, the headaches, and the back and leg pain that time of the month. Targets pain caused by menstrual cramps. Brufen works where it hurts.
It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we are continuing with our health discussion this morning. Reproductive medicine specialist Dr. Liesl Oosthuizen is still with us, and she's ready to answer all of your questions on infertility. Thank you once again to every individual who has sent through their questions with us this morning. And we do have some of those comments that came through for us this morning. Let's take a look at it. The first one is from Lee Marie Ackerman. She says, my husband and I are married for 5 years and we have been trying for a baby since we got married. We are in our mid-30s. What can we do?
So the first step, I would say, is come and see a fertility specialist. Whenever you've got a long duration of trying to fall pregnant, and that's usually in my mind sort of 3 to 5 years, I start worrying about either the sperm function or the tubes. So we do actually need to check that, check egg number, have an assessment of egg quality, although mid-30s usually egg quality is still good enough. But you need to start off with finding what the actual problem is.
I'm going to ask you a very important question because in my first-hand experience, well, kind of second-hand, but first-hand experience of this journey, and it is a journey because it can encompass a person's adult life, the emotional toll. What are the emotional implications for an individual and for a couple in your experience in this space?
It has a huge emotional impact from trying to understand the fact that you have infertility, because we always see it as someone else's problem, or we internalize it as there's something wrong with me, instead of saying this is actually a medical disease, and it's recognized by the WHO as a medical disease. So from admitting that there is a problem and embarking on that journey of treatment, and I'm so glad you brought up that it is a journey, because it really is. We start at point A, and sometimes that journey twists and turns, and we find ourselves in a completely different point from where we started. But it takes a huge toll, both on yourself as an individual as well as a couple, and it can affect your relationship. We do have many psychiatrists, psychologists that we work with and we refer our couples to, because you do need that extra emotional support through it.
Board, yeah.
You do need that support from your doctor, but your doctor is not there at home when it's just the two of you talking about another failed treatment, or the fear about what if this doesn't work, or what if this does work and we have another miscarriage. So you need to have that emotional system built up around you, and because couples don't talk to their family or their friends about this, it's often just that couple dealing with it themselves. And you're trying to be strong for yourself, you're trying to be strong for your partner, but you really actually need that extra emotional support around you.
It's real.
Where can people connect with you? Because I know there's still so many people out there that have so many questions about egg freezing as well. Where can people connect with you?
So I'm based at Cape Fertility, and if you want to get a hold of any of our doctors, we are 4 reproductive medicine specialists at our practice. They can get a hold of us either on our website, www.capefertility.co.za, or they can email us directly at info@capefertility.co.za. We are also on Facebook and on Instagram.
Thank you so much. You were definitely the right person for us to bring in this morning. Hopefully you found that as informative as we have. It is a medical condition. You are not broken. There are options available, but you need to learn more. So speak to a specialist if you think you fall into this bracket. And yeah, thank you once again for a really, really enriching chat. Thanks.
Absolutely enlightening. Also to know that there are solutions and there are some ways to make that a little bit better. Now, of course, it being Tuesday, and every Tuesday we bring you Pharmacy of the Week, which is a short feature that acknowledges the incredible people working on the front line.
That's right, and this is our way to say thank you to these brave healthcare workers, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram, OTC sponsors of Brave. But let's take a look at this week's Pharmacy of the Week, Synergy Pharmacy and Clinic.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
Serving this community, it's been a privilege for me. I've completed my internship 24 years ago at this pharmacy, and I've been here ever since. COVID-19 has presented many challenges, especially in our business, creating an environment that's been safe and for our staff and customers as well. We're also situated in a community that has many retirement villages, and so it's been hard for that part of our customer base not being able to come to our pharmacy physically. Bravery to me is having to cast one's fears aside and attending to the needs of others, which in this case was a real fear. I think our staff as a team, we've done a sterling job of creating that safe environment, as well as providing the reassurance that everything will be okay.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Oh, well, we certainly thank all of those fighting on the front line. We appreciate you and we salute you.
Yeah, and of course, every hero deserves a good home-cooked meal. And I'm here with the one and only, it's Teresa Aliat. Of course, we're doing something special. It's paella, I believe.
I know, yummy.
And, obviously, a great theme of today is World Ocean Day. So we're doing things that are still sustainable. We're ensuring that we can still do the thing that we love in the ocean, but also in the belly too at the same time, right? So what's happening here? And can I help you as well,
yes, please.
I want to get involved.
Chop some beans for me, please. So you
green beans? Yes.
Green beans.
Okay.
So you just top and tail them, and then cut them into pieces.
Top and tail them.
Yes.
I
So
like
you just
that. Okay. What are you going to be busy with over there?
I've got our Clover Classic spread here, so I'm going to pop some in the pan, and I'm going to get our spices going and our rice. So traditionally, a paella would have seafood in it. But as you said, it is World Ocean Day, and we're trying to be mindful of our oceans.
Yes.
So we're here to show you that you can do a veggie version, and it's just as delicious.
And this is really something I'm going to put you to the test on, because a paella dish, like you said, is synonymous with fish and that sort of feeling and those flavors and varieties. So I'm really interested to see if we can still hit that mark, still get the flavors of the ocean that we're so used to, but actually at the same time while protecting it and conserving it, which I absolutely love.
That's right. Well, I think you'll be impressed. This is really, really delicious.
All right.
So we're going to get our onions going here. And I'm also going to add some red peppers, which we sliced.
Okay.
And
I'm already seeing lots of colors in these meals, which is a yes, please for
Love
me.
it. And just let those soften.
Okay.
That should take a couple of minutes. And then we've definitely got some spice going in here. Beautiful, beautiful spice.
What spices are we using for this to kind of, because I know paella's like, it's quite a spice-orientated meal, a lot of flavor, like
quite robust, yeah.
What is it that gives it that true paella sort of feel?
It's definitely that spicy flavor, and then the texture. You don't want the rice too mushy, you want it soft, but you also want that crust at the bottom.
Okay, so it's just like perfect balance with everything in this meal, right?
Yes, so I'm adding some garlic. I always add garlic to everything. Some smoked paprika, which I absolutely love because you've got that heat but that flavor, which is really delicious, and I can smell that coming through already. Then I'm also adding some saffron. Now this is optional, so if you don't have it, you can just leave it out, but that also adds a lovely flavor. And then some chili flakes.
So that's like
Lots of
6 different spices alone
lovely
coming
flavor.
through there.
And just cook that off for a minute, and you'll smell, I mean, they smell amazing right now. And then we're going to add our rice.
Wait, you're putting raw rice? Shayna, what? What do you mean?
No, crazy.
What happened to boiling and doing all these things? Okay,
yeah, so this is the thing with paella. So toss the rice in your spices. You can see the color's changing.
And I see it's already like sucking up and absorbing some of those spices and flavor already.
Beautiful. So that looks well mixed. And then we're going to add some stock.
Okay.
So I'm adding some veggie stock.
I'm watching very attentively, by the way, because I've never, ever pulled this meal off.
No, it's
so today
a
can
lovely
hopefully be the first.
So some stock and then some tomatoes as well.
All right.
And now the trick with paella is to leave it alone. And I'm very bad at this because I love mixing and kind of getting involved. But what you want to do is bring it to the boil, then lower the heat and let it simmer.
Okay.
Don't mix it.
All right.
Because what will happen is the rice will cook beautifully. It won't get all mushy, but you'll get that crust. You want that crust at the bottom of the paella.
Ah, okay.
So what you're going to do is cook it until it's almost done. So when you can see it's almost there. And then you're going to add your veggies. I'm just going to add them now. So we've got some peas.
Okay.
Some olives, which are also going to add a nice salty flavor kick.
Yes.
And then our beans, which you chopped so beautifully.
Now, I noticed earlier, obviously, you used the Clover Classic to make this meal, which is obviously giving it a lot of that, the smoothness and putting it all together. Now, one thing I love about this, which I have to mention, is it doesn't matter if you're cooking, baking, spreading, anything can happen, because Clover Classic fat spread is so versatile to use in any form of cooking, any techniques that you have, and even in a paella of all things. It's crazy.
Can you believe it?
So this is the best part, where you leave it and you can go do your thing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
How long would you let it simmer for?
Just until the rice is cooked, so it depends which rice you're using. You can just test it, and then the veggies go in right at the end, because they won't need long to cook. A couple of minutes, and then it's ready to serve.
Simple as that.
Very, very
Ladies and gentlemen, Expresso.com, if you've just tuned in and you want to get this paella recipe, that's not just any paella. This is a paella that is in 100% support of the ocean preservation and conservation, so that we can play in it and talk to it with our kids as well. And I think there's one more thing for me to do. I got to try it out.
You have to taste it.
So while you guys check out the recipe on Expresso.com, I'm going to dig into this. It looks absolutely delicious.
Amazing.
I'm going to grab an olive and a bean and get everything else involved. Oh, this is where I'm paying attention.
Yes.
All right.
That's
All right. Okay. I got you. I needed to think there because I'm still trying to feel, is it a paella without the fish? And it definitely is. I'm getting the textures. I'm getting the variety. I'm getting that flavor.
Yeah.
I'm getting a good time in my belly.
Yay.
Paella, done right, Patricia. Thank you so much. And you guys at home, of course, get the recipe online. And otherwise, enjoy conserving and preserving this beautiful ocean that we get to play in.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic.
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Okay, Expresso family, it's a Tuesday morning, and honestly, at this time of the morning on a Tuesday, you know you're about to get your TV license worth. Oh yes, every rand you've paid for your TV license culminates and covers for this performance you're about to see. Tuesdays are all about karaoke Tuesdays, where we get to sing our hearts and our lungs out, right? And
turn up the volume. Don't turn off your TV.
Don't.
No. You know, some people have already turned their TVs off.
Not
looking
again.
for the remote right now. But
we're
listen,
back.
today is actually quite special because we've got Melissa got grace as well as Fiso got saved. So hopefully they save this performance and they just bring it nicely full
Give
together.
us grace this morning, okay, please?
100%.
Okay.
So we're going to be singing this morning Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles, guys. You ready for it?
Let's go.
Okay. All right, wait for me.
Wow, okay.
And,
all right.
And go.
Beautiful, Tabs.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past, and I'm homebound.
Nice.
Staring blankly ahead, just making my way through the crowd.
Yeah. Nice.
And I need you, and I miss you, and now I wonder if I could fall into the sky. Do you think time would pass me by? 'Cause you know I'd walk 1,000 miles if I could just see you tonight. So it's times like these when I think of you, and I wonder if you ever think of me. 'cause everything's so wrong, and I belong living in your precious memory. Yeah.
Here we go.
'Cause I need you, and I miss you, and now I wonder if I could fall into the sky. Do you think time would pass me by? 'Cause you know I'd walk 1,000 miles if I could just see you tonight.
Well, this is going to be difficult.
Whoa.
And I don't want to let you know I drown in your memory. I don't want to let this go. I don't. Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass, and I'm homebound. Hey, hey. Staring back in your head, just making my way through the crowd.
Hey, Sifiso, come on.
And I need you, and I miss you, and now I wonder if I could fall into the sky. Do you think time would pass us by? 'Cause you know I'd walk 1,000 miles if I could just see you. If I could fall into the sky, do you think time would pass me by? 'Cause you know I'd walk 1,000 miles if I could just see you. We could just hold you. Here it goes. Tonight.
Well done. Graham, Jamie, come and join
come in
us.
here. You know, I can't get the image of like the movie White Girls and that transition, and G literally embodied it. Just his face and oh man, you were in.
I felt it. No, it was there. It was a special one. It was a special one.
To learn to play that song on the piano.
Tubbs nailed it, eh?
Yeah, no, you were fantastic this morning. That was great.
Well done, guys. Well done. I didn't even want to block my ears. I actually wanted to.
For the first time.
Oh,
Kudos to
we're leveling up in the karaoke game, guys.
I couldn't hear anyone else singing. I could just hear his voice the whole time. Crazy, man. But it's been a great show, really interesting, celebrating the World Oceans Day. So we're going to continue on that trend, and we're also going to get into our sister show, Paella, which obviously is doing some amazing things at the moment, and the incredible Tracy Lang, who is doing amazing things in her own right. A big winner at the SAFT, is also one of the hosts. Really can't wait to connect with her.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful to have her here. And just speaking of Paella, I mean, it is the season that you're seeing on your screens this, this time around. It is the last of how we know Paella to be before that tribute season comes out, which is going to be, I think you'll need to keep the tissues close by to really just take a trip down memory lane.
Oh, but thank you so much.
You.
Yeah, I'll cry. I'm definitely going to cry tomorrow. I have no doubt. I'm going to go home and cry right now. In fact, love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Adios.
See you tomorrow.
Here's to family favorites and recipes passed from mothers to daughters. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.